Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petro, and joining me in-house and in Zoom, we're doubling it up for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Cowell makes his triumphant return to the debate. Aaron Murky is our special guest, comedian and actor Aaron Murky from Winnipeg. And Martin Navarro joining us from Vancouver as always, and me, your humble narrator. What are we talking about? Well, this is all about the heist, the art of the steal. We tasked ourselves, inspired by, first of all, Oceans 11, 12, and 13. We tasked ourselves with coming up with a new heist team, picking characters from different TV shows and movies, combining them, and as long as you had your major bases covered, femme fatale, safecracker, demo expert, team leader, greaseman, wheelman, those kind of positions. Pick 4 characters, mash them up, figure out why they could steal a special piece of movie memorabilia, and why they would be such a good team of thieves to get the job done. Aaron Murky, our special guest, was a blast. Aaron, like I said, he's an actor, comedian, originally from Winnipeg. Got his start at the Improv Olympic in Chicago and was trained under the late Del Close, a improv god among improv comedians. Aaron's also been on Much Music's top-rated show, Video on Trial, and was the host and sketch writer on Much Music's comedy special, LOL. So anybody who has done this dance with us before, the show is about to begin, so get your snacks, get your drinks, get your whatever on, and head into the metaphorical quote-unquote theater. If you are new, please just give me 2 more minutes of your time. I'd like to tell you how to know more about who we are. All right. So first off, therealdebaters.ca. That's where you can find out everything about us. That's where the show is. That's where you can subscribe to the show. That's where you can see us. You can read about some of the stuff we think. You can shop us. There's a prop shop there where you can buy Real Debaters merch. And if you want to donate $1 or $2 to the show, it helps cover production costs. It goes right back into making this as good as possible. And then we get to blame you as a result of helping us do a better job at the podcast. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's therealdebaters.ca. Pretty simple. If you want to email the show and talk to us, give us an idea, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on social media, where we are now posting videos, we're doing weekly reviews called Real Quicks. 2 or 3 minute video review of something that somebody, family or friend from the show has watched. We'll be posting it on there to share. If one of you guys wants to submit something and slide into our DMs, who knows? Maybe it'll show up there as well too. And if you want to see this stuff, you got to follow us on social media. So it's @RealDebaters. All the spelling, all the marketing, all this jazz is REEL for the spelling. Debaters spelt the same way. So @RealDebaters on Twitter and Instagram, and Real Debaters on Facebook. This is the part of the show where we thank specific people for doing some heavy lifting for us. We love it when you guys listen. It's awesome. This is a little side project from a bunch of dudes who have full-time jobs. So when we come home and we take a look at the analytics, it's awesome that you guys are listening and talking to people about us, and then more people are listening to the show. So to our top 5 Canadian cities, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Kelowna, Dartmouth, and Toronto, thank you so much. Again, thank you to everybody in Canada who listens. But in these cities, people, like I said, they're chatting about us around the water cooler, or they're saying how shitty we are. Either way, someone's listening to the show, and that's really fucking awesome. To our top 5 friends south of the border, Oakland, San Jose, Ashburn, Forney, and Southington, thank you so much for listening. Again, to all of our American friends, we love you. I'd love to thank all of you, but these are the places that are like, hey, go check out the Real Debaters. Those guys are fun. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to our top 5 north, top 5 south. I got nothing else for you. Nothing's changed. The guys on the show can't do comedy. We can't do live events right now, so I'll just cue the reel, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official debate section of the charter.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of order.
It's paying off so far. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Real Debaters production. We have a special guest in the virtual living room, and we also have somebody in the actual fucking studio. We have somehow, well, with the power of bubbles and safely social distancing, Mark has been in my bubbles since the bubbles were allowed. So as soon as we moved here, I was like, well, we got one person in the studio for sure, and we've got Martin out in Vancouver, and our special guest is YouTuber and makeup artist from Winnipeg, Aaron Murky. Hello, Aaron.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for saying yes to the show. What was your first reaction when I said, hey, do you want to come on our podcast?
Sure.
New phone, who dis?
No, I'm totally open right now. Like I'm kind of digging. Like there's nothing else to do, so it's like social media and doing podcasts and just playing around with other people is online is the only way to do it right now.
It really is, and I think that it kind of brought the barrier down between a lot of industries where like before you'd have to get in front of them to pitch them or ask them a question. Now it's a simple email, and more often than not, I found everybody's like, yes, I'll do something because I'm going absolutely fucking crazy. So any way to play and create and talk dumb shit, I've found people are good for. So thank you very much for coming on this show this week, as we always do in previous weeks. And we'll start with you, Aaron, because you're a special guest. I want to find out, Mark wants to find out, Martin wants to find out, what the fuck were you watching this week or recently that you liked?
Okay, so I've been pretty busy with just trying to get videos made, but I watched Mighty Ducks, the new series, which is, I like it because it really feels like they watched Cobra Kai and were like, this is something. And so they watched Cobra Kai and were like, oh, I think people are really into this. And then they made their series and it's not bad. Like my friend is actually in it. Amy is in it. She plays a mom. I haven't got to the part where she's in it. I'm on the second episode. So, but it's all right. It's all right.
So in regards to Cobra Kai, is it massive fan service and flashbacks and all of the things that the first season of Cobra Kai was like? Because that was a big risk, I think, to start using found footage and hope. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's an easy play, but the critics could have come at them and been like, "Oh, that's low hanging fruit." But is it done in a tasteful and fun way?
There's not a lot of old footage used. Like it's I think what it is more inspiration for Mighty Ducks to like it's interesting because I think what made me think like Cobra Kai was that the role reversal, right? So the Mighty Ducks are kind of on the bads.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're a bunch of like shitty kids that Bombay comes
Well, they're
back.
very good. They're very good, and their parents like push them to be like hardcore strivers.
Oh, so it's not a mixed
Yeah.
bag of kids who don't really have any skill that he brings up. It's about teaching these shitty little children about, being
Kind
better.
of. Well,
Yeah?
you have to watch it. I don't want to spoil it, but like basically Emilio isn't really. He's kind of on the outs himself. Like he doesn't do anything with the Ducks, and this team kind of gets pushed out. Like this kid gets pushed out, so he creates his own team, or his mom creates the team,
Okay.
and they're the down and out kids. So Emilio's down and out. These kids are down and out, and that's where we're at right now. But I think Emilio's going to start getting involved with the down and out kids.
Were you happy to see Emilio Estevez reprise his role as Gordon Bombay?
He looks like his dad. It's weird. It's weird.
Martin
Weird to see
Sheen.
Emilio Estevez as his dad.
Emilio Estevez playing Martin Sheen as a hockey
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Martin Mark, is that on your radar at all to check out?
It hasn't been. Mighty Ducks was kind of. It wasn't my childhood.
Okay.
It was sort of after.
Not my childhood hashtag.
Yeah, not my childhood. So I don't have like the same connection as I did to like Cobra Kai and Karate Kid and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a little after my time.
Martin, what about you? Are you planning on picking it up?
Oh, I'm
anytime
watching
soon?
it.
Oh, you're
I'm
watching.
watching.
Okay.
Sure.
All
Yeah,
right.
I love Mighty Ducks growing up as a kid. I mean, who didn't? Who that made me want to play hockey? And I grew up in California, so we had I got rollerblades because of it, and started playing like street hockey because of it. And yeah, I think what Aaron said, I pretty much agree with all the points. It's a really fun show to watch, especially if you were a fan of like the original movies.
I watched the Bad News Bears. They were the first.
Yeah, it's like that, or Hardball. Yeah, Bad News Bears, stuff like that.
I was just gonna say to you, Martin, Hardball is one of my like later on in life, because like these movies are like Mighty Ducks, Flying V, Quack Quack, all, like the Anaheim Mighty Duck logo. Like there's so much ingrained in the Mighty Ducks for us. Mark loses out, but no, whatever. We can fix that, Mark. We can get you some knuckle puck action going on here.
Oh, okay,
Smash
Boomer.
Brothers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I saw it pop up. We talked about it once a couple weeks ago, like just briefly about. I think Ian Bawa. You know Ian, don't you, Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
he
he's a
was
good friend.
he tried to like give himself an intro on the show where he used "It's a goal" from the Mighty Ducks like din, I guess.
Yeah.
And it didn't go so well. But yeah, no, I'll probably check it out because Shauna and me just started. I've started rewatching Cobra Kai with Shauna because she picked it up the other night, and I walked in the room and I was like, "What episode, you on?" She's like 5. I'm like, "So you're into it?" It's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Sweet, I'll stop watching. Now we have something to watch together." So
You almost have to hold off till like episode 3, because I found the first few episodes of Cobra Kai like
Painful?
I wasn't into it. I was not doing it.
it really took a second to. I think we all had to recalibrate to Daniel, Ralph Macchio, and Johnny Lawrence's character, who I don't know his name. Martin, do you know Johnny's like real name?
William Zabka. William Zabka.
Okay, William Zabka.
A very nice boy, by the way. Plays a dick in the first one, but a very nice boy. His mom was in the audience, and she was like, "Why are they booing my son? He's such a nice boy."
I think we just had to recalibrate having seen these two guys come off the couch. It's like watching an MMA fighter not train and then have to find their stride a bit. So yeah, the first 3, I'll agree with you, Aaron, the first 3 episodes were a little tough because you're like, what is this? But then when you find out that cheese and that
It's part of it.
is part of it, then you accept it. And then it's like, okay, when are they going to bring back Elizabeth Shue? Come on, when's
Right.
Allie coming on, right?
Yeah.
So like,
They tease it.
oh, they tease everything. They tease Daniel and Johnny fighting.
It's just genius. It's genius.
They tease Allie, Daniel, and Johnny all being in the same room together. Like, as soon as that happens, I'm just gonna fucking slow clap in the middle of my basement and call
Oh
it a
shit!
night.
Yeah, it's fun. The one thing I'm waiting for is they keep on tickling it, but like the Johnny and Danny like coming together and kicking ass together.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah. I won't get into it because you aren't there yet.
no, I'm not. I just Crease is back in my life.
I believe they call that move the double dragon.
Yeah, man. It's totally the double dragon. It was the Shinobi turned to the double dragon.
That just makes me think of Starsky and Hutch. Will
That was
Ferrell's.
for you, Mark. That was for you.
This next part's going to get a little weird. 2 dragons.
Archer back.
This is totally an 80, 90 kid show. This is what this is. Like,
Oh God,
What's funny, it originally started as a YouTube Red project. It
Yeah.
wasn't a Netflix project. YouTube Red had it.
Oh.
The first season was all YouTube Red, and they were like 15-minute shorts with how they released it. And then you had to pay for YouTube Red to watch the rest of it, and then Netflix picked it up season 2 onwards. So then that's why you see a bit of a different production value.
Oh, that makes
yeah.
sense.
No, you're right, Martin. There's a minute where you're like, oh, they put some money into this.
Well, I don't know I don't know if you've watched the second season yet, Mike. No.
We just started it,
Oh, okay.
and I'm right where Crease.
I'm going to tell you the last episode of the second season has like a Glee level production value. Let's just call it that.
So does it nosedive at the end? Like,
No, it's a high
oh.
production value. It's just sort of
They put money into it, man.
it's Glee-esque.
Are we
Let's
gonna?
just call it that.
Is it
Just
gonna
be
be
careful
like?
on the stairs. That's all. Just be careful on the stairs.
Okay, I've seen that clip.
I
That's
don't
the
know how
only
they can
clip I've
fight.
seen.
They fight in a high school for like 35 minutes.
Yeah, without anyone.
Like, did they hire the John Woo stunt team to teach these guys?
What happened to all the metal detectors they had at the front?
No shit, eh?
Yeah.
Okay,
It kind
so
of makes Kill Bill seem like short.
like the Crazy 88
Yeah,
end
the
fight
Crazy
scene.
88 end fight scene.
Oh my god! All right, I can't wait for this now. All right, so we do this little thing here, Aaron, where I say to you, "Where would you watch it?" And then you tell me, like, would you watch it on an airplane, half paying attention? Would you sit down and make snacks
Oh.
and not turn your eye away from the screen? So, as of right now, how's Mighty Ducks for a watch? Are you actively watching? Or are you passively watching?
I watched it. I'll tell you where I watched it. I had to get a blood test. I had to get a blood test, and I was in line, waiting in line. And you know how the lines are right now
Yep.
to get in and get the test done. That's where I watched it. So, but I watched it. I was fully into it. Like, it made the time go. So
Did you have headphones in or just
Headphones
speak on
in.
the phone? Okay.
yeah. No, I'm not a dick.
I would have loved it if, because I'm a dick. I'm a dick at work. I watched Falcon Winter Soldier yesterday at work, and I had it cranked full volume in the lunchroom.
You're that guy on the subway that just fucking like cranks his music and
Yeah.
well, public transit.
Everybody has to be a part of my moment.
That adds to the rating system of where would you watch it. It's like I'd watch it in the washroom at work without headphones.
And
And I-
the noises that I'm making from my body.
And
so
I'd
they
linger
granularly
I'd linger
subconscious.
after I finished.
I wouldn't get up until my feet fell asleep.
Oh, it's that good.
So I have a chalkboard wall in here now, gentlemen, in the Real Debater studio. So that will be going on the wall, Mark, as a new rating system. I will watch it on the toilet and probably not leave after I flushed.
On my phone, on the toilet, and linger
Just
after.
be careful if you binge watch it because your legs fall asleep and you won't be able to get up. If you're like 10 episodes in, you're just like, oh god, my legs are.
If you're 10 episodes in, you're fired. That's all that happens. You're just fired.
You just never leave.
You're
Just
going to
stay
be
at work
watching it in the
whole time.
unemployment line.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. Hey, Martin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
What did you watch this week? Did you get a new TV? Is that TV box in the background?
I got it this year. Yeah.
Okay.
It's I just haven't put I'm trying to figure out where to store this thing just in case I move or need to put the TV in. I don't know. I have to
Where do you
throw it
live,
away.
Martin? Are you from
Vancouver.
Winnipeg?
Yeah,
Oh,
originally
Vancouver.
from Winnipeg. Just moved
Okay.
to Vancouver in 2019.
Why'd you leave California?
I grew up in California in like the 80s, 90s, so gang violence was crazy high.
That sounds like a perfect time to be there.
And my parents just wanted us an easier life because basically going to school and going to work for my mom, it was like a 3-hour commute one way and a
Okay.
3-hour commute the other way. So we'd have to leave at like 5 in the morning just to get to school at 8:30. So my mom could get to work at 9.
That's
So it
crazy.
was just like long days, long nights. And yeah, and it was just crime was getting pretty bad too.
Martin was
What-
hard into that Crip life, and he lived in a Bloods neighborhood.
Blood for life, son.
He was part of the
Bumped it,
Cobra
baby,
Kai.
bumped it. No, I'm kidding. Don't. Oh God, I hope our listeners in the States don't hear that. No, but also too, like what happened was, we lived in a cul-de-sac, and the thing that made my parents basically said we're leaving was because every house except for ours in the cul-de-sac was cleaned out, like robbed.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, over like a span of 2 weeks. And we're just like, all right, well, I guess we're getting out of here.
And then you guys left, and the whole cul-de-sac was like, they took the people. Everything. They sold the house, everything. They left.
Or they just
They
assumed
were
that
just
you...
wondering what's going on.
They
But
just
yeah,
thought
it was
you
just-
were-
it was-
you were
I
guilty,
love
clearly.
California, but yeah, seeing now what my parents had to go through, especially with work and stuff like that, and kind of the violence and the escalation of
Right.
everything was, yeah.
So you guys
Sorry to
moved.
hijack.
You guys moved right
Michael.
after you cleaned out the cul-de-sac.
Uh-oh.
We're
Yeah,
just yeah.
that's how.
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you think you got the money to move here? Moving is not cheap.
That's not suspicious at all.
Not at all. Not at all. We're moving next week too again.
That's why I have this TV box in here.
Yeah, it's not even mine.
Are we gonna unpack this time? No, we're not.
Just leave everything in boxes for a quick escape.
What'd you watch this week, man?
Well, I've been really into this new series on Prime called Invincible. It's an animated kind of superhero series. It's written by Robert Kirkman, who's one of the creators of the Walking Dead comics.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're a fan of that, you'll probably like Invincible. It's very similar to if you're a fan of The Boys. It's very similar to that sense where, you know, they're superheroes, but you're kind of questioning, are they good? Are they bad? It's got a really cool cast. J.K. Simmons is one of the voices. Stephen Yeun as well from The Walking Dead. Sandra Oh. Mark Hamill is also in an episode as well as one of the voices. So, I mean, yeah, really cool, really dark. The first episode is kind of, you know, when you watch, you're like, well, this isn't that great, but the last 10 minutes, that's when it hooks you, because the last 10 minutes really sets the tone of what the show is going to be and what type of superhero kind of superhero genre this is going to be. It's not for kids. I wouldn't recommend it for kids. It's definitely an adult cartoon. If you're looking for something fun, superhero related to check out, I recommend The Invincibles.
I caught Kirkman on Fat Man Beyond explaining the whole thing that you're talking about, and that already put the hooks in me. And then you were like, you should watch Invincible. And if anybody has ever pushed me towards watching more animation, nobody deserves more credit than Martin. Martin's like dropping constant like animated shows for me to check out, and I've got a really good long list starting with Archer. This also Jupiter, is it Jupiter Rising or Jupiter Ascending that's coming on the Netflix now with Invincible?
Not the Channing Tatum movie though, right?
No. It's but it's the same. You make when you're talking about how are superheroes good or bad, and there's now The Boys, Invincible, and Jupiter Rising or whatever on Netflix is going to be the third thing where it's about another generation of superheroes growing up and then wanting to take over the mantle or pass it along and say, fuck it, I don't want to be a superhero. I think that's a really interesting storyline. So is that the main plot of Invincible? Is that isn't it a father and a son?
Yeah, it's a father and a son. So, like the father is J.K. Simmons' character, who's basically like, I won't give it. It's not. It doesn't give anything away, but he's basically like Superman. His father's basically Superman, and he has a son with Sandra Oh's character who plays the mother, and then it's about the son trying to discover his superpowers and training with his father. Stuff like
Is it like puberty?
that. It's a little bit. It's like superhero puberty. He goes through a lot, and he goes through things that you wouldn't think would affect superheroes, but you're actually thinking like, well, he might have superpowers, but he's still a kid who grew up on Earth, and he has to deal with things and deal with the repercussions of some of his actions as a superhero. So things like PTSD he'll deal with, especially when things don't go his way when he's trying to rescue somebody, he can't rescue them, so he has to deal with
Interesting.
that. So.
Yeah, and they don't put any of this adult stuff you're talking about in like the little 30-second snippet on Prime. Like it's very G in the commercial. So whatever they're
in the Spider-Man movies, you don't like what happens when what happens when when Spider-Man doesn't rescue his first, victim.
So
what happens, and then they don't show that. Spider-Man always rescues everybody in the movies, but like here in the show, it's like, okay, well, they tackle that. Like, what happens if he's a new superhero? What happens if he fails?
Yeah, superheroes aren't born perfect; they're just born with perfect abs and perfect fucking hair.
He is shredded, pretty shredded.
Kylo Ren shredded.
Yeah, way more.
Where anybody else plan on watching this? Anybody else heard of this? No,
I haven't. It's not on my
I've
radar.
seen it, but I haven't watched it.
Where
I've
would
seen
you
the clip.
Where would you watch this, Martin?
Oh, I'm like snacks in front of me on my good TV. Nothing distracting. Turn off my phone. Won't look at my phone for like an hour. Like I don't look at my phone for an hour when I'm watching this. I just like zone out. And
Are
just
they
focus
hour
straight
long?
45 to an hour, around there.
Really?
The usual, yeah.
That's long in the tooth for an animated show. Like, I mean, most people, I don't know. I mean, the classic shows, all the ones that we all know, are 22 to 28 format, or maybe 30 on the nose without commercials. But like, that's asking a lot. So, does the story keep pace to stay into an animated show?
One of the
like
cool
that?
things was it. So, it doesn't spoil anything for the show, but it's just a cool thing that I noticed was. So the main character, Stephen Yeun's character, his superhero name is Invincible. That's what he chooses as his superhero name. So they don't show the title of the show until someone says the word Invincible in the show. So they show in episode 1, it's Invincible, and it's just the name Invincible in plain blue and yellow writing, blue background, yellow writing, clean. And then the second episode, Invincible, and then there's a little bit of a blood splatter. Third episode, a little bit more blood splatter. Fourth episode, a little bit more. So the violence does pick up, and it just intensifies even more as the series progresses. So, yeah, that's pretty neat.
So it's slowly desensitizing you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
To the point where you don't know that now all you want to do is look at dead bodies and not be completely bothered.
Finally, you're at the point where you can't get off if there's not at least one dead body.
Thank you, Robert Kirkman, for making me enjoy dead zombie porn. Perfect. Mark, what'd you watch this week, buddy? Good to see you in the fucking room, by the way.
It is good, yeah. I haven't been here in a while.
It's been 6 months. It's
Yeah,
almost 7.
it's too long.
Technically, it's a new place. No one's been there in a while.
No one's been.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's true. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming you guys are. I'm just finishing movie-wise Snyder's I don't know,
Justice
Justice League.
League.
But I'm sure you guys have talked about that to death.
Bring it on, sir.
But
We
no,
didn't-
I'm just gonna go. I'm enjoying it. It's what it should have been to start off with, like what everybody's saying. It finally makes me care about the characters, and that's all I ever wanted. So,
You wanted backstory.
bravo! I wanted a backstory. I cared. For me, so far, I'm like almost at the end. But Cyborg is the story that I never got that I needed. There's so much like that's such a better character arc. You care about him and his father and their interactions, and by far Cyborg. Finally, I care about him.
I love listening to Ray Fisher talk.
Yeah.
I think he's got one of the best voices, and it's calm and soothing. From us, you want a superhero to be in control and not panicked. And he just, when he speaks and offers everybody advice and science and IT supports and all the things that he can do, you're just like, what the fuck made Whedon just go, no, I don't want this?
Well,
Like, it's
Fisher's coming out saying that Whedon didn't want an angry black character as a main figure in the movie.
he's not angry.
Well, that's why his version, he really sort of candied him up and removed him.
He booyah'd him,
But
and
you
it was
need
so
that,
offensive.
You need the dark kind of past for it, right?
Yes.
And no, I think it's fantastic. Anyways, to move on, the kind of different thing. I just finished the last season, so I guess I powered through it, of Search Party.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's heard this. It's on Crave.
Okay. Oh. Is that like a Lost kind of thing?
It's weird. So it starts off with a group of 4 friends, and I can't think of the actress's name who played Maybe on
On
Arrested Development.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So she's kind of the main character in it, and it's a group of 4 friends, and somebody they went to university with goes missing. She sees the missing poster from it, but then she sees the girl, and she thinks, well, she's not dead. I think I want to find her. And that's the first season, and it's all about trying to track this girl down and what happens in that process. And it completely goes off the rails in a whole bunch of different ways. Each season, there's 4 seasons, and each season is dramatically different than the last.
Is it the same story through?
No, it's weird. They find her in the first season, but like she's not anywhere. Not to spoil it from anybody, but it's not what you think it is the whole time. But then at the conclusion of actually tracking her down and finding it, then it begins the whole crazy other part of the story that continues on for 3 series.
Okay.
Or 3 seasons. But you know what? It kind of sucked me in. It was a very different story. It's really sort of like mild characters. Like, they're not really strong characters, any of them. A lot of them are sort of, I don't want to use the term beta or an alpha, but they're sort of like secondary. They
Yeah,
let people
there you go.
kind of,
Yeah.
right? They let kind of people walk all over them, and it's kind of their interactions in LA. But it's good. It's got comedy, real dark parts,
Dramedy.
and then some like real reality shit that's thrown. I thought it was really good. Very different. Nothing like I've watched before.
So,
I recommend it.
was it more?
And it's like 5 years old. Like, everybody's late to the party. I'd heard about it from somewhere else, and like it started in 2017.
Jesus.
Is it HBO?
Yeah.
Mark?
What's that?
HBO?
It started on some other network and then came to Crave. So it was like Showtime or something. Like, it was one of those networks that really doesn't get the play that a lot of other ones do.
Well, Crave is the Showtime carrier in Canada,
Oh.
so it's probably a Showtime
Yeah.
series. But it shows up in the. Crave is horrible for their app.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're watching, and you don't know where it's coming from, and there's not enough Prime's software is the best if you're a movie nut and you want to know shit. But I've seen it, and I mean, Maybe's character's probably one of the.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it sucks you in. It just, I don't know. It really sucks you in.
were you watching it with Chrissy, or was it?
No,
just,
this is a me. This is on my every second week I get like a Friday or a Monday off with my schedule.
Yeah.
So this is on my day off, guilty pleasure, watch it while eating a bowl of cereal kind of movie.
That's awesome. No, I've been meaning to check it out. There's just too much.
Or show,
fucking-
not movie. But
Yeah, what
you know what I meant.
it's all the same.
Yeah,
It's all the same.
but I
shit.
recommend it. If it's on nobody's radar and you're looking for something different, get into it. You won't be disappointed, I don't think.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Marcus?
I can't remember. I've seen an ad for it. I think maybe did the 4th season just drop recently? Maybe that's why I've seen the ad for it.
Not recently, but suddenly out of nowhere, I think, you know what? I think the 4th season dropped somewhat recently, and people only got into it in the 4th season, and everyone went back to watch the first 3. Because like Dax was talking about on his show, and everybody was late to the party, and I saw it pop up as a recommended one, and a few other people mentioned this Search Party that nobody had anything to do with.
Yeah.
And suddenly
yeah.
on its 4th season, it's now this big deal. So
It's got the Schitt's Creek phenomenon.
exactly. Nobody was really watching it, I don't think, in its first 2 seasons, and then in the 4th season, everybody went back and rewatched stuff. So,
Cool.
and again, it's one of those production value grows up. It starts off basically being filmed in like 2 rooms, and the next thing you know, they're outside. There's big
Yeah,
sets.
yeah. They're not dedicated to one building and 42 scenes in this building,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
The characters are so like millennial LA people. It just hurts, but it's great at the same time.
Like the hipster tropes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
So Silver Lake, is it take place in Silver Lake? Tips are central right there.
like they've got like plant-based restaurants,
100%.
organic coffee,
Yeah.
all of that clean living California West Coast hospitality shit.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well,
Silver Lake's like the bougie hipsters, though. That's Silver Lake's bougie hipsters.
It is.
That's bougie.
okay. What's the difference between a hipster and a bougie hipster?
Silver Lake is like if you're living in Silver Lake in LA, that's money.
You got
Like
cash.
it's not crazy money, but it's still money. It's like
You're doing okay.
you're doing all right.
You're doing all right. Well, what I watched this week, I don't know if anybody else is going to know about it besides Mark, but last week we moved, so my nerves and my anxiety have been craving easy watching. So there's been a lot of Food Network going on in my house as of late, and I think I might cry if I got to meet Guy Fieri. Might actually he's on my radar as somebody who, he's just my favorite thing about him, just by prefacing Tournament of Champions is what I watched this week, but my favorite thing about him is that he is so down to earth and cool, but it refuses to get rid of his signature look because
that look is ugly.
It's
an ugly look.
It's so ugly, but then if you just
It's like Hot Rod in human form.
But like not
You
a
could-
good hot rod, like
Yeah.
not a good chassis,
I
like
meant
a
like
shitty chassis.
the sausages, the snack sausages.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. I thought she meant like a Chevelle, like hot rodded up.
I thought it was a pepperoni stick too, so that's where I was going with it. But hang on, Mark needs more. Do you need more headset?
And I need a little down a bit because these guys are boisterously laughing.
Oh, we'll
and,
just bring their volume down a bit, then we can do that.
Martin's getting a little excitable.
I'm an excitable boy. We know that.
Not a problem. So what I'm watching, Tournament of Champions, is it's a single round knockout, chef on chef, best of the best, world class championship, and it has this thing called the randomizer. So you take, and we have chefs like Kat Cora from Iron Chef who's on this season. So you've got Michelin star, you've got Iron Chef retirees, you've got Top Chef alumni, like the best of the best in cooking championship shows in reality television is on this show. And this is the second season, so
You've got two Voltaggios.
You got Michael Voltaggio. You've got his brother Brian Voltaggio. Who else is on it this season? Well, Brooke Williamson, she's big LA chef.
She's the defending champion.
Alfonso, the Warrior Princess.
Antonio Lafonso.
Antonio Lafonso, the Warrior Princess. All of these big names who've got shows, and they're all put on an even playing level with the randomizer. So the randomizer has your protein, your starch, your cooking style, a must-have utensil, and your time. And it's a random spin of the wheel, and whatever lands up, these two chefs have to go head-to-head, and they have that amount of time. And if you're not into big Food Network shows, it's just a fun competition show. If you like your reality TV in competition form, it's the best of the best, doing some of the most craziest things with food in some of the... I just like it because it melts my mind, and it takes me away from like the bullshit of life, which is what I mean by easy listening. But it's on Prime, it's on the Food Network. It's easily one of, I don't know, Mark, I know you're watching it.
Oh yeah,
Like
but this is the season for competitive food shows.
Yes.
Right? Because you got Tournament of Champions on, you have Top Chef, you have Master Chef, all at the same time.
And Top Chef Canada starting next
Right?
week.
So this is the season for all of that. But it's great. The randomizer is the great equalizer. And I think the for anybody that's into food shows that hasn't watched Tournament of Champions, is it's blind taste testing.
That's right.
So if you like the person, you don't give them extra it's kind of like Beat Bobby Flay, right? Like nobody's really sure. So it's real winners and losers.
And you get...
I know if I was on that show and it was Guy Fieri, I would just make a fried egg and just watch that fucker try to eat a fried egg because I know he hates eggs. He hates eggs. He hates them.
He's
won't
just the
eat
host.
eggs,
I think
and that's what
he's
I would
best
do.
as just
Yeah,
a
I
host.
would take the loss.
just mark me down as a loser.
I made an egg covered by an egg,
Yeah.
surrounded by
An
quail's
egg within
eggs,
An egg. An egg 3 layers deep.
covered in hollandaise.
in an ostrich egg shell. That's your vessel that you're eating out of. You're eating egg out of an egg.
I call it enough is enough is enough.
Oh, there's the episode title. Yeah, it really is the great equalizer, like you said. But to Mark's blind tasting, you have Jonathan Waxman, Rocco DiSpirito, like big names in food coming on, going, this is the best meal ever. So you've got like Chopped judges, you've got Iron Chef judges, like everybody in the food world. Marcus Samuelsson is like the definition of the perfect palate.
Right.
And
Giada.
Yeah, I don't think she eats. I'm sorry.
You leave that woman alone. She is wholesome and nice. You leave her
I'm
alone.
not saying she can't be, but I'm just saying I don't trust a chef who's not a little chubby. That's my point. Like you if you don't look like you eat the food you make, how do you know the food you're making is good?
Probably does a bunch of cardio, Mike. You don't know. She probably has that Michael Phelps diet.
I am sure she has the best workout regimen because every other chef on the show is like just pudgy as shit. I'm talking about the men, and then she put her on, and she's just this tiny woman who like it's the juxtaposition is hilarious.
Well, Michael Vataggio is dangerously skinny. Also.
He is. He's a fucking coat rack. He's so skinny. Like. Yeah. But it's anybody's game because of the blind tasting. So if you like your food shows and you haven't had a chance to partake in Tournament of Champions, make it. And to Mark's point, Guy Fieri is better as a host.
Yeah,
that's where he shines. I mean, being able to do diners, drive-ins, and dives and Triple D. Like I've gone on a couple. I've done 2 restaurants he's recommended. I'm 2 for 2. Like both of them were great restaurants, and I mean they're from 7-8 years ago on TV. But he's just best corralling everybody and doing his thing.
I think in the world of food entertainment, a show like this makes you realize who should be the competing people.
Yes.
Who should be the hosts.
Yeah.
Who should be the judges, right? And then, because everybody's part of, they're all chefs,
yeah.
right? But I want to, like Simon Majumdar, who's kind of like the correspondent.
Yes.
He's great in that role. I don't want to see him cook, right? And that's where... Like Jet Tila, I don't really want to see him cook. I don't think he deserves to be there. But it's interesting how all the different people, like, I don't want to see Giada cook, but she's a great judge.
Exactly, because Martin wants to see Giada cook because she's wholesome and nice.
Her shows are relaxing. I used to watch those shows all the time, and they were so relaxing. I'm like, I just feel like my auntie's cooking for me or something.
Aaron, are you a Food Network fan? Do you partake in cooking shows?
Me and my wife went down the West Coast and we tried to hit some Triple D places, and they're all really, like, the ones he recommends are really good. Like we've never had a bad.
Yeah, he doesn't send you on a wild goose chase. That's for sure.
It's kind of nice. My wife is more the person who watches cooking shows, so she watched like the Great Canadian Bake Off, and like she's all about that. She's all about Raffi Cat and like how awesome she is, and who just won the Great Canadian Bake Off. Spoiler alert. I like how I said the spoiler and then you're welcome.
Remember what I said about Hard and Loose?
Yeah, my wife watches them. I don't have time. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch more film, and I put stuff on the shop in the background.
Yeah, I've got a huge collection of background movies that are for edit. When I'm editing, I'm like, let's go. Let's do a Tom Cruise marathon today. Because
am I the only one that do you guys do this where I have movies that I put on just to listen to, like to go to sleep?
Yes,
100%.
I do that too.
Yeah, that I know I can picture it in my head, but I just listen to the.
Yep.
I have the worst movie that you can watch over and over again, and that I just seem to be the Last Samurai. I can watch it over and over again.
So can I. It's such a.
I can watch it. I don't know why. I have no clue, because to me it's like, this is shit, but it's like, it's good. It's a good movie, but in my brain, like, part of me is like, no, it's not.
I love Ken Watanabe in it. He just is messing with Tom Cruise's character.
Is it just the last scene where they have the machine gun? They're just mowing down all the sound.
No.
We're gonna help you sleep.
He just
Brazil.
pictures the
if
violence.
I want to go to sleep, Brazil. I'll put Brazil on. I'll be asleep in like half an hour. I've tried to get through that movie like 1,000 times. I love it, but if I want to sleep, Brazil.
I'll put on Batman versus Superman just because the soundtrack is so cinematic and well, it's an orchestra. It's not an actual soundtrack. It's not lyrical, so it just is a nice way to.
Those are way too much action. We're like Devil Wears Prada. Yeah, 100%.
Glenn Close.
Easy A.
Easy.
Le Chocolat.
I'm the chocolat. for Johnny Depp's accent,
Yeah.
nonetheless. Oh, hey, that's shown in the background, guys. Right? It's amazing in here. So, all right. Well, speaking of Tom Cruise,
Speaking of Tom Cruise,
I smell a debate around the corner. So, gentlemen, we're all warmed up. Aaron, you ready to go on this? Any further questions
let's do
before
it.
we're good?
No, I
all
don't
Are we
right.
debating Tom Cruise today?
Well, we will be at one point. I know Mark's picks, and that's all I'm going to say.
I'm so excited.
There is some Tom. There's a little Tom Cruise in everybody, but there's a lot of Tom Cruise.
there's
here
some
today.
tomfoolery.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time, welcome to the debate portion of the show. This is where we do everything that the show is about. So, this week's debate, inspired by Martin. Was this you, or was this me, or was this both of us? I think this is both of us. It's always both.
I think
of
I
us.
said, hey, we haven't done a heist movie thing yet, and then
Yeah.
we came up with it together.
Yeah.
Of how we wanted to do it.
And just so everybody knows how professional we are, 3 minutes later, we had our idea. So it wasn't that hard this time. So this is inspired by specifically the Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 movies. The Ocean series, which reignited the original with the Rat Pack, with Sammy Davis Jr., Sinatra, and Martin, right?
Yes.
With George Clooney.
Joey Bishop, a ton of them.
Yeah, no, and it's such a fun fucking classic Turner classic movie. But the Heist movie,
And the same Italian Jobs.
yeah,
Right.
in the same vein.
Original remake.
For
all
it's I think they're remade better because of today's technology. Like
Yeah.
the cars are faster, and the plots are better, and the long cons are more fun, right?
And the Mini Coopers are so much.
the Mini Coopers are so much minier.
Them so many,
So much more Cooperish.
yeah. So Bradley Cooper, if you will.
I on the same while we're on the genre of movie.
Yeah.
Yes, heist movie is by all means kind of encompasses a lot, but I like to refer to it in the same vein as the let's assemble a team movies.
It's 100%
Because I
that.
love let's put a team together movie. I don't care what the team is for, but you give me the vignettes of fucking assembling a team, I'm in. I don't care what it's for.
I think the best one really started with Armageddon. I think we can all agree that the where are these guys? Well, as soon as they get off the rig, they scatter, and then they got to go find everybody to get them back into the to the briefing room. And one guy's getting a tattoo, eating donuts. The other guy's like Michael. Rest in peace, Michael.
Mark Duncan.
Michael Kirk Duncan is like on a Harley evading the cops. Like those little vignettes are
100%.
so much because it's enough backstory to give you who your character is without too much backstory.
Yeah.
Right, without Joss Whedon ruining your backstory.
I love that with like X-Men and stuff when they go to find a new mutant.
Yeah,
Right? That's why Heroes, the TV show, was so, like every time they went to go find a new mutant, you got to see them like in their
Assemble the team.
environment, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the whole show is assembling a team.
I couldn't agree more, and that's exactly why I knew you'd love this one
Oh.
because it's essentially assembling your team. Now, rules and premises for everybody. Martin, as always, your job is to correct me if I'm wrong, and you do such an amazing job. I say that lovingly. I don't say that with any insult. I need an editor. So rules and premises for this was simple. I said you needed a leader, you needed a demo safecracker, you needed a weapons expert, and you needed a grease man and a wheelman. Am I correct on that, Martin?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That was where it started. If you wanted to assemble it in any other way, that's fine. Just assemble a heist team and who you think would do it. So I think, Mark, you were mentioning femme fatale at one point in the chat group. You were like, yeah, deep sea diver, treasure chest hunter, like whatever you could string together that would help you steal whatever you're wanting to steal. That was fair game. And you could pick from any movie, any TV show, anything out there and reassemble the team. And your job was to steal a specific bonus points to stealing a specific piece of movie memorabilia as part of your heist. So who are you assembling? Why are you assembling
Oh, I didn't know
them?
we had to steal a specific
okay.
piece of movie memorabilia.
It's fine. It was
Better start thinking.
yeah,
Better get
yeah.
quick.
That's fine.
It's
That's
fine.
fine. It was bonus points in the image. It wasn't mandatory, but if you did think of something, it just would kind of give you that little extra. It would put you over in wrestling, right? So I will go first. Let me bring up my notes here. I picked a motley crew of fools. I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure all you guys saw my list and were like, where the fuck is he going? So let me take you down my heist. So first of all, what I'm stealing is the original hat and whip from the American History Museum, from the Indiana Jones, and Last Crusade. That's the one it's from. But they made the same hat for a bunch of different movies. But that's the one that's on display. It's not currently on display right now, but it is on display at the American History Museum. So my team consists of team leader Walter White from the TV show Breaking Bad. My grease man is Frank Dux from Bloodsport. My demolition expert is Garrity, the terrorist from Blown Away. And my wheelman is Cole Trickle from Days of Thunder.
That's the first Tom.
That's the first Tom, right?
For those
there.
counting, that's Tom 1.
That's Tom 1. All right, we're at Tom 1 tally. So I will go in order here. So team leader, why did I pick Walter White? You would think a riddled chemistry teacher probably isn't the person you want in charge of leading you into said heist. Well, I used him specifically to keep the team together, not so much to really do anything. But here are my examples. Strong-willed due to his mission to save his family. So he's committed to what he's doing. He's not going to, let's say, break from the mission at hand. All right. Willing to get the job done at any cost, which is my point of letting someone die like Jesse's girlfriend. He will let things happen as long as it's part of his plan. So he doesn't crack. Right. If you remember in the scene when Jesse's girlfriend starts to have a drug overdose, at any other given point, any of us in this room or on this Zoom chat would stop and save that person. He does not break from the plan, and that was part of his plan, was to manipulate the shit out of Jesse. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do for the sake of the argument. I'm saying that he has resolve, all right, and he can carry on throughout a very hectic situation such as that.
If people got to die to get a hat, like
Yeah, Walter, I mean, what better bagman than Walter White? He's a father figure. He actually has patience and understanding. As much as he's manipulating the shit out of Jesse and taking him for a ride, he's Jesse's missing father figure. So you want somebody like with Frank, with Garrity, and with Cole.
he's also Walter Jr.'s missing father.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, Walt Jr. is just trying to figure out how to get through life and wondering where Daddy is, who's Heisenberg. What else did I have down here? I had his one thing to do would be to microdose everybody with a little bit of his meth, just to throw everybody off. Because if we're breaking into the American History Museum and we need a distraction per se, dosing the security guards, coming up with some sort of plan to keep everybody like high and in a corner and freaking out, kind of like a distraction, so to speak. Then we move on to our grease man. We have Frank Dux from Bloodsport.
Can you repeat the last part?
Oh, the
About
last part?
dosing?
Oh,
What was
yeah,
that?
no, I was just saying that Walter White can microdose the proper amount of blue meth to make people go a little crazy. So part of a distraction getting into the museum would be maybe dosing the coffee in the break room, let's say, and then everybody drinking coffee and waiting out a certain amount of time, and now they're all tripping balls in the corner, like, feeling furry walls and having a good old time on blue meth. They're not going to be concerned with the whip. They're not going to be concerned with the hat. They're going to be concerned with coming down from 98% blue meth. So back on to my Frank Dux. I picked Frank Dux as for two reasons mostly. I picked him because he's agile as fuck. We've seen him do the splits. We've seen him maneuver his way around in Bloodsport. He can do the splits, which by default means that he's a bendy shit.
Have we seen him do anything but the split?
No, not.
That's the only thing I've seen him do.
Yeah, right. So I mean, but here's the thing: if we have to turn the lights off in the American History Museum, Frank can fight in the dark.
Ooh.
Frank can feel things coming. Frank lost his sight in the end of that movie. Martin, what the hell's his name? Anybody else know what the name of the guy he fought in the end was when he was like
Chong Li.
Chong Li, thank you.
Ying? Boyo Young? Chung Li, yeah.
Chung Li, yeah, Chung Li.
Bolo is the
Bolo is the
actor.
name. He's the real name, yeah.
Yes. So I've got
Chung Li.
Chung.
Yeah, Chun Li's from Street Fighter.
Sorry,
Chong Li.
Chong.
Yeah. Chong. CHONG.
So for two reasons. One, I've got an agile guy who can get in and out of tight spaces, who can perform bendy maneuvers. If there's laser beams, like let's say in Entrapment or in Ocean's 12 when he does the disco dance, like to get to the Fabergé egg, I've got a bendy guy who, if you give him the right steps, he's probably going to be able to choreograph his way through. Plus the blind fighting. I mean, you can have a grease man, but can you have a grease man who can move his way through the dark when you have to turn the lights off? That's a pretty strong character for your heist team. Secondly, we're moving on to demolitions experts. Now, I don't need to blow up the museum. but I do need to have a controlled demolition. And Garrity, throughout the movie of Blown Away, is setting up specific bombs with little to no material whatsoever. Like, I think he uses a rubber ducky in one. He's like the rune. What's the thing where you make the dominoes fall? Like the rune.
Rube Goldberg.
Yeah.
Rube Goldberg device.
Rube Goldberg device. Like, that's what he's good at, is setting up bombs in that way. So if I want to create a distraction outside of the museum that isn't going to hurt anybody, because you don't want to kill somebody when you're trying to steal shit, right? Then you're going to jail for a whole different set of rules you're breaking instead of just breaking and entering. So I've got controlled demolitions happening outside in specific areas. He can blow up cameras. He can blow up the security room based on the size of the explosion that I need. I don't necessarily need to. I don't know. I couldn't find, unfortunately, how they keep the hat and the whip on display. I don't know if there's a box over top of it or if it's just hanging on the wall or if it's a fake like the Mona Lisa. But nonetheless, I would be using him as controlled demolition around the building for said distraction. Last but not least, we have our wheelman. Once we have our gear, once we've got the hat and the whip and everything, people have been microdosed, explosions have been blown up, blind fighting has occurred for any reason whatsoever, we got to get the hell out of there. And Cole Trickle from Days of Thunder knows more about rubbing his racing and working his way through a bunch of other cars, which is what you want in a wheelman. You want a wheelman who can maneuver through traffic. And he's used to knowing how far up behind a car to go, how far back from a car to go, when to time it. I mean, you can have a great wheelman, and the whole purpose of a wheelman is to drive, but somebody who's not afraid to rub while they're racing. And I mean, the guy races in wheelchairs. He races on foot. He races in the car. He's born to race. It's in his blood. So it's not somebody who's not used to these scenarios. He wants to get from point A to point B. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. That is my heist crew. I now open the floor to our very first special guest of this studio, Aaron Murky.
Oh, so what do I do now? I just
Tear him a new asshole.
There you go.
okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna start with Tom Trickle because I'm like, yeah, he can rub when you're doing like circles. He can rub a car when he's doing circles, but not like when you're down street, like real city streets.
Can he even
Like-
turn right?
Yeah, can he even turn right? Exactly.
I never thought of that.
Right? Like, I'm just saying.
Left.
And then I have to go through all Walter Wright. I don't know much. I didn't watch the series. I actually couldn't get into it. But he's meth. Like, he's into the meth world, and I think he might, get into that himself. Did he do that in the show? Did he have a problem at one point?
No, he didn't get into his own stash. Jesse
He never
did.
got high in his own supply. He
Never-
followed rule number one of Scarface.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That Scarface didn't fall.
I
Yeah.
do feel like Frank Dux. It's been a while, so you never know if he fell on hard times and wants to supply himself. I'm just saying that maybe he's, and he can do the splits on some chairs. Yeah,
Well, no, yeah,
I
I
need some functionality on that. Like that, good for him. He's got,
Like-
he can spread his balls. That's great.
Seems like more of a distraction technique.
And who's the other guy?
Garrity, Tommy Lee Jones from Blown Away, the IRA bomber.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that memorable character.
I'm just trying to get there. Somebody should have done research on these guys.
Long hair,
Research on you guys.
front heavy Irish accent. Has basically the story is
The only problem with that is I feel like because you're going to a national museum, right? Like you're going to
the American History Museum.
the Americans would be all over this guy as like a frequent terrorist. They'd be like they'd have him under surveillance.
He's on no-fly lists. I don't know how you're getting him in
He's
the country.
Irish. He's Irish.
Yeah, under a pseudonym, like false
Yeah, you have
documents.
to.
Yeah, there's no way he's coming in.
Yeah, that's my spin on it.
Well done, sir. That I have a half a size asshole bigger. Mark, you're next.
I'm gonna paint a picture for you, Mike.
Okay.
We're in the
Use
American.
wide brushstrokes.
We're in
Wide
the
brushstrokes.
we're in the American History Museum. This is all taken from yours. The fucking lights are out. There's pyrotechnics, and we got a bunch of people on meth. It just seems like a giant rave. And in the middle of the rave, you're gonna pull a fucking heist of an Indiana Jones hat.
Yeah.
I don't know how you think meth is gonna help your scenario. You know that fucking Hitler methed up the stormtroopers because it made them more focused and wanted to kill people more?
It made them more pliable.
It's not acid. It's fucking meth.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
They're not on MDMA. They're on fucking meth.
I'm just...
The last thing you want to do is meth your guards.
Take a look at the help section in your Alexa.
What? Just Alexa just turned on. Hang on, I
Even the
unplug
phone
it.
doesn't want you to do this. plan.
Alexa, tell Mike he's wrong. Anyways,
no, Mike.
I don't think it's gonna be a success, but I want to watch the closed circuit video of the rave going on with a bunch of meth out security guards and pyrotechnics.
Oh no, yeah, all right.
And
fair.
you're gonna get Tiesto to play this, or
I didn't quite think of the after. Yeah, you know what? If everybody's drinking the methed out coffee that I came up with, then eventually everyone's gonna be like, "You should go try some of that coffee." It's just gonna spiral out of control. You guys, when I form these, I go with my first idea and then I don't self-edit. I'm just like, I love the fact that I'm using meth. Done. Just move the fuck on. There's not a lot of like, how can I beat Mark this week with meth?
Walter White blue meth. Check.
All right, Martin, you're last up, buddy. I'm all here for it.
Now that Marcus painted that picture, I'm more of your team shouldn't steal the hat and should just do a rave. Let's not take it to the rave because it sounds like a fun rave to be at. I think that'd be more successful. I think Frank Dew will be all over it. He's gonna be the one, and Walter White's gonna make money on this rave selling his meth. Cole Trickle can chauffeur people. He can designate a driver, making money that way, making sure people get safely home from the rave at record time.
He assembled a team for Coachella.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think that's a way better plan. Is like have like a rush on the museum where you sell tickets to this rave and everyone just shows up, and that's your this is your plan really. And then you're getting everyone meth coked out kind of thing. Get them in the museum, and then you can steal whatever the fuck you wanted.
Boom.
If nobody has any plans this weekend, I mean, I know it's still there. It's just not on display. So yeah.
I wanted to ask Mike, what was the point of the skill of fighting in the dark? Is there a lot of fighting in the American History Museum at night in the dark?
Okay.
What I want is if the lights go out, can Frank Dew see other things in the dark? I don't think he can. He could probably sense the vibrations of someone's coming at him, but if there's a still statue of George Washington, I don't think he's gonna see that coming. He's gonna run into it. He's gonna set up an alarm, and it's just game over for your team.
It's not the force. It's not the force.
Yeah.
But he makes it look like the Force.
It's not. It's not fucking Yoda.
Yeah, I just remembered. Like I said, I was like, oh, Frank Dux, he can fight when he got sand in his eyes, and I was like, that would come in perfect, but I don't need to figure out how.
Well, I mean, with the methed up security guards moving at high speeds, doing laps around the building.
I'm making it. Yeah, that's the only way it's gonna happen. I'm making it.
You
really
should have
difficult.
stolen the Krabby Patty recipe, because then the sand would, he could deal with the sand then.
All right. Everybody's in. I'm gonna get.
But
final.
I did like Walter White as your pick, as your team leader, because what I liked about that is Walter White is a fucking genius. No matter what you put in front of him, he will figure out a way to do it. Sure, he started off as a cook and as a chemist in Breaking Bad, but he just took the whole business of the drug game. Usually it's one or the other that you're good at, and that's what you specialize in when you're doing these types of shows. But he was able to do that and become the drug kingpin. So it's not only was he the chemist, he was the kingpin and the crime kingpin. So I think that shows how he can use his skills his skills aren't one dimensional. He can mold them to something. And I think if you were to plan the perfect heist, then yeah, I think Walter.
But wasn't he originally a teacher?
Yeah, chemistry.
Yeah,
chemistry.
yeah. Well, the American Teachers Association, he couldn't keep his job. He got fired from that. So that says a lot about the American teachers.
No, he was one of those impassioned ones who took extra time and realized that there was a budget crisis and was like, I won't let this stop me. But to Mark's point, I just want to have a rave now.
Yeah, I mean that's the better plan.
That's
I'd watch the movie on this. It sounds good.
This sounds like one of those Netflix crime documentaries about how someone would try to do this, and then they'd make the documentary of how it all went horribly wrong.
It could surpass Blade as the best rave scene in a movie.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, just blue meth raining down instead of blood. Oh,
Bring
that
back
would be-
Darude. Sandstorm by Darude.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There's your sand.
There's your.
That's the score, right? That's for sure the soundtrack.
Yeah, no, there's your sand. I love it, Aaron. Oh shit. Yeah, no. Well, and Walter White, just to cap this here, Walter White can break bad. That's the thing about him, is that you have this dual personality almost, where if you do need to get a little tough, or blow up a drug kingpin in a personal care home or what have you, then he can. But he can also go back to the flip side of the family man. So he's multi-purpose to me, and I've realized now that pretty much the only one I can count on. So, and I mean, Cole, yeah, all right, if there is any right turns, fair enough. But like, Cole drives through things. He doesn't drive like he's what you have in somebody who's calculated. Let's say like Driven with. Do you know who I'm talking?
Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Is it Driven or Drive?
Is
There's
it Ryan
Drive
Gosling
with
as the main
Sylvester
character?
Stallone.
Drive.
It's
Oh.
Drive. Or Driven is with Sylvester Stallone, about the race car
Yeah.
movie. But something like that, who knows what they're doing. I was counting on somebody who's good in a panicked situation, say having to drive around a bunch of methed out people during a rave, right?
So like Statham.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
more, yeah. Why didn't I
Yeah.
pick Statham?
The transporter.
the tra-
I mean, you could have picked that.
Right?
You
I
gotta put
fucking
Smokey
hate-
in a band, like Smokey.
I
from
would've
Smokey and
Smokey,
the
yeah.
Bandit. Like,
I hate
Burt Reynolds'
the,
character. He's a great getaway driver.
yeah.
amazing.
I
He make
hate.
it to Texarkana in record time.
And then you take Statham. What's the other movie where he's got to keep moving or he fucking dies?
Oh, Crank.
That's right. So he can do well on meth. So you just fucking meth him up.
Man, I didn't. As they say, if you knew then what you know now.
You got your Frank Dukes rolled into one with fucking Cole Trickle.
Yeah, just sitting there swinging at
You
things.
got
and
room for a
nobody's running
femme.
by.
You got room for a femme fatale.
Or a juggler. Or a juggler.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Or a circus clown or something. I don't know. Unicycle rider.
Realize we're probably going to have to put the definition of what like Greaseman and Wheelman mean in the notes for people who've never watched any of these movies or
I would
characters.
say a nurse to administer the IVs from all your methed out crew. because
Yeah,
they need
yeah.
hydration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hydration, like in Vegas, like the hydration
Yeah.
vans that come around,
Yeah.
take you off that hangover.
I'm not going to suggest Michael Jackson's doctor for that.
Oh, no, you take the long good night on that one. All right, fair enough. Yeah, my asshole's clapping in the wind. So who did I say was going next? Was it Mark or Martin? Mark.
You go
Martin.
ahead, Martin.
Martin
Yeah.
was next.
Okay.
So, Martin, feel
Okay.
free to take us away into your world.
So I didn't pick a piece of movie memorabilia. I didn't know that was part of it, but I'll explain it later what I picked. But so my team, for the leader, I had Sherlock Holmes, the Robert Downey Jr. version. I think he's a great leader. He's a master strategist, and like Walter White, I think no matter what scenario you put in his face, he can overcome that obstacle with his just mastery of logic. My safecracker, John Connor, and the tech guy safecracker John Connor. It's going to be the older John Connor, not kid John Connor. Not for long.
So which one? Like from which
It's
movie?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Okay, all right.
Christian Bale, John Connor. Greaseman or Grease Person is going to be Agent 99 from the Get Smart movie, played by Anne Hathaway. And my wheelman getaway driver will be Baby from Baby Driver.
Damn you!
Um,
I was gonna pick him too.
That's a getaway driver.
That's a
He
getaway
can
driver.
He can drive well on the streets. So what are we stealing? Most of you know that I love junk food. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to Louisville, Kentucky, and steal the secret 11 herb and spices recipe of the KFC chicken recipe.
Fuck yes.
How are we gonna be doing this? We're gonna be doing what's called the Mick Jagger con, where one man does a bunch of dancing while the others play music. So the dancing or the distraction, what we're going to do for that is we're going to hire all the Colonel Sanders impersonators from around the world and fly them to Louisville, Kentucky to appear at the KFC headquarters to cause a distraction. We're also going to hire actor Norm Macdonald to play his Colonel
This sounds
Sanders
like a
version
fifth
as
man.
well.
This sounds like a fifth man.
Yeah.
This sounds like a fifth man. I'm so sorry.
We're hiring them. It's part of the plan.
I have visions
So
of
how we get in?
skydiving Elvis
You're
is
probably
here too.
wondering. Thanks to Sherlock Holmes, master of disguise. Sherlock, Agent 99, and John Connor will be disguised as ergonomic chairs. And we're gonna wheel them in to the KFC headquarters. They're going to be wheeled in while the distraction is being caused at the front gate. Once in the building, we have John Connor, if there's security systems, to hack those. We know how versed he is in technology. John Connor, I like John Connor because he's a great pick. He's a man of many talents. He's a weapons expert, tech demo. He's also a pilot, just a few things that he's skilled of. The more talents you have, I feel like the better chance of dealing with unpredictability. And with these, heist movies, there's always some sort of unpredictability factor that the team leader doesn't factor in. So the more skills your crew has, the better. So what else do I have here? So also too, he could probably, if the safe is electronic and not just a classic safe, he could probably hack that as well. We've seen him do that in the various Terminator movies, getting through electronic locks. And if you need a demolitions expert for the controlled explosion, John Connor is also versed in that as well. Let's see here. And chances are, if there's a heist movie, there will be some sort of laser field. So this is where Agent 99 comes in. As you know, if you've seen the Get Smart movie, she actually goes through and tackles the intrinsic laser field with ease. On top of that, like, she's a woman of many skills. She's one of the top secret agents of Control. We know if the need arises for combat, she can handle herself in that respect. So when we steal the recipe, we're gonna, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the original KFC recipe is written on old paper napkin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna steal that paper napkin and we're gonna replace it with a different paper napkin, but with the recipe to Chicken Delight. And we're gonna put that on the KFC vault. And the escape. So the escape, how we do it is, it's basically, once we've got the KFC recipe in our hands, we're gonna change into another disguise, and we're gonna mass text all the impersonators at the front to rush the office. And basically, we'll now all be dressed as 3 Colonel Sanders impersonators, thanks to Robert Downey Jr. and his Master of Disguise, or sort of Sherlock Holmes. And we'll just walk out the front door, and we'll head to the getaway car with Baby Driver. And the plan is to ride into the sunset if things go the way we want. But, just in case they don't, that's what Baby Driver is there for that kind of clean getaway car. And yeah, that's pretty much my heist plan, and that's my heist team.
Aaron, as being the special guest.
Oh, took notes on this one. So
I can see you doing it.
I'm in it now. All right. Okay, Sherlock Holmes is a known addict. Just saying that. He's a known addict. He's a heroin addict. And he's really no one without Watson. He won't, because he's not a high achiever. If you really think about it, it's Watson that puts the plans in motion, right? John Connor, can he focus on the mission at hand, or is he constantly going to be trying to save his mom? Like, really think about that, because he's got to be born.
That is a true mama's boy.
Agent 99, I'm just like, it's Anne Hathaway. I'll give you that. Like, she's good at what she does. I don't know much about that character other than she likes the weather to be normal. I think that's the plot of that film. Is that right? Yeah. And then Baby Driver, I think he's solid too. So my only problems are John Connor and Sherlock, which are, to me, it seems your plan are highly invested on them. And then hiring someone, I call bullshit. You gotta get Anne or Baby or someone else to play the part.
So I can't hire.
You can't hire.
A bunch of impersonators?
You can't hire a fifth. And if you can, then I have to change my strategies.
We never said we have a team, but like hiring, they're not part of the team. They're just a distraction. They're not part of it. They're just a distraction to the plan. They're like fireworks. Like, what if I set off an explosion?
I think a group of people you can motivate, but I don't know.
Well, pay
that's
with
a
money.
call of the rest.
It's
of
pay
the
with
two.
money. Like you could if you're paying. It's like what if I set off a controlled explosion? That's the same thing. We just need a distraction. I think the KFC, since I didn't need to hire them, but I just thought it would be a nice touch to hire KFC impersonators because I'm stealing from KFC.
I see.
And
I think you're better off just getting someone on the team to get a job at KFC. That's all I'm saying. I just think you could do that, and you could get the 11 herbs and spices. That's just me.
Reverse engineer
Baby
it.
Driver.
Yeah.
He's the only one who could probably work at a KFC without it looking suspicious.
Right? It could be the driver. Just get the chicken to them, and then they can take it to the lab.
So what are you doing once you get the 11 herbs and spices? Like, is it just for you to have KFC for the rest of your life, or are you planning on like opening up a chain?
Oh, we're releasing it to the internet, free for the people. everyone can do their home KFC. We have Red Lobster biscuits at home. Why not KFC at home? Let's just do it.
How are you motivating your team? Like how are they getting remunerated?
Remunerated?
Yes.
Because they all love KFC. Who fucking doesn't love KFC? Get out of here.
Yeah, if you're not on this team, there's a
Dirty bird.
Yeah,
Dirty
who
bird.
doesn't love that dirty chicken, man?
bird.
That dirty chicken.
My only real complaint, like Baby Driver, I mean, solid. The only problem is, I guess, like if he loses his earbuds at any time, I think the movie. I mean, I know it's such a weak point, but like I think the movie made us believe that music in his head was what made him just move the way he did, like dancing and getting coffee and then driving and everything. Like driving and music
It's
to
to
him
zone
was-
out, right? It's
Yeah,
for him to zone out
exactly.
and focus on the task at hand.
So my only concern is don't drop your AirPods. And I think
Can I just
everything-
give him like 10 different sets of headphones, like backup ones in the glove compartment? Just pack the glove compartment with headphones just to erase them. You're like, yeah, he's got backups.
Had you touched on that during this, you would have wiped my point out completely. Had you been like, oh yeah, and just in case Baby loses his headphones, I've secured like a pair of, like 20 pairs of wireless Beats in the trunk of the car or something like that. It would have been, I'd have been like, oh, I don't have a point in this. And then to the addict question, yes. I don't know how much he isn't without Watson as so much as Watson is his, you know what? I am RDJ. I am Sherlock, and Martin is my editor. Martin is my Watson, because I think that without Watson, Robert Downey Jr. is just fine. It's Watson who is without Robert Downey Jr. that really, like, Robert Downey Jr. pushes Watson. Robert Downey Jr. gets Watson to go out of his comfort zone and also edits him when he needs it. That's my point of I'm Sherlock Holmes and all this shit.
I think
But-
the Watson in the team that would take over would be Anne Hathaway's character, 99, because if you look in the Get Smart movie, Steve
Fair.
Carell's character is the one who's the screw up. He's
Yep.
the one who's
Yep.
he's good, but he's a screw up, and Anne Hathaway's the one always reeling him in to like, hey, this is what we have to do. Focus, focus, focus. This is what we have to do.
Cone
So
of
someone
s-
else would take over that. It would be Anne Hathaway.
The Cone of Silence is my favorite scene
Yeah.
in the remake by far. And then, yeah, just the addict thing. Like, if he gets into, like, if he's all of a sudden halfway through the mission and he starts to sweat out and, like, go into withdrawal.
Chicken's not enough. Chicken's not enough
Yeah,
right now.
that's
We'll just
where.
go to Mike's rave after. If I go to Mike's rave after, that'll be our
Sure,
team
man.
celebration, our team
Yeah.
wind down party, our wrap up party, as you would say. Just go to Mike's rave in the American History Museum.
Right back up.
Bunch
Yeah, no, those are just AirPods and heroin withdrawal are my only two concerns. Mark, what about you?
You know what? I can't question his team too much because
It's a solid
pretty
team.
solid team.
Yeah.
I question his motives.
You always have to question my motives, Mike.
And I question, like I said earlier, the motivation to get together this team. I don't know this as a fact that all of them are that in love with KFC that they're going to risk their lives and freedom for you.
Pretty small payout for life in jail.
Yeah.
Mark, did I mention that there's going to be a rave with unlimited meth afterwards?
You have a VIP invite, Mark.
All right. I mean, solid team, but if I put those together, I might pick a better target.
But it's 11 herbs and spices, man. I mean, it's one of the most.
It's 11. It's not 10.
It's 11.
It's not
11.
12.
11.
The number's 11.
Yeah, 11.
That's the
right.
magic number.
What's the
It's not 5-minute abs.
what's the
4
one?
minute abs.
What's the one ingredient? I bet you they were at 10. So what's the one ingredient that, like, at 11 they were
Meth.
like,
It's
what?
meth.
Just a tiny bit of crack.
It all comes back to the meth, Mike. We're going to your meth. Every team is going to celebrate at your American History Museum party afterwards.
And I'll be the only one going to jail. It'll be me and my heist team going to jail. All you guys get to party till 7 in the fucking morning. Martin, last words from you, sir.
I think my team is solid, and I just thought, I wanted to pick something that I wanted for myself. I wanted KFC to the world, and I love KFC chicken, so I thought it would just be fun to steal KFC chicken instead of stealing like what you would think, like, oh, he's gonna steal a piece of art or he's gonna steal like a diamond. I mean, no, I want to steal KFC. Let's steal something ridiculous. KFC.
Question. Was did you have KFC after you wrote this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did.
I got
I feel like it was
I was craving it so much. I was thinking like, oh, this is what I'm gonna steal this week, KFC. I'm gonna have some KFC.
I thought it was the other way around. I figured he was probably eating it while he was trying to think of something.
Like, wait a minute. No.
This shit's delicious. I wonder how they make it.
You know what, Mark? I'm always thinking about KFC, so that's
All
I like
righty.
that skinny Asian Cartman. But not racist, but just for the love of KFC. You know,
Not
that's what yeah, not racist, just the love of KFC. That's the only thing. He loves KFC. He loves
I like the
KFC.
disclaimer.
Yeah.
Fucking ABC. Always be
Cartman
chicken.
Asian.
Always be chicken. Oh,
Always
all
be
right.
chickening.
So we have one Tom Cruise so far, and
All right, I don't need an introduction.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
Step the fuck back.
Mark, you're up, buddy.
All right, fellas. Fucking hold on to your hats. Grab your copies of Dianetics, because we're going on a fucking ride.
Ready for a reading, ladies and gentlemen?
My team, affectionately known as Cruise to the Power of 4. It consists of my leader of Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible movies. My muscle is Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise. My wheelman, in air quotes, is Maverick, Tom Cruise. And my con man distraction, male femme fatale, is Frank TJ Mackey, Magnolia, Tom Cruise.
Nice.
From now, ladies and gentlemen, I just feel before he goes on that we need to premise, if this is your first episode, Mark passionately, without hesitation, would love to see Tom Cruise get run over by Maverick.
I don't even like Tom Cruise. In fact, I've only heard of these movies for the first time doing some research for this. With the exception of Top Gun, which I saw was an impressionable young kid.
Yeah,
that
right.
Couldn't
You
make choices for himself.
So go on.
I understand that this Ethan Hunt, I couldn't
Munt.
read my writing there,
Munt.
sorry.
It's so less, just shitty, just the shitty version. Ethan Munt.
The Wish.com
All right,
version
so-
of Ethan
You
Hunt.
couldn't afford one more zero in the budget, so you had to hire Ethan Munt.
Okay, here's the heist, boys. We are going to pull the scam and enter the Motion Picture Academy and steal the Oscars, because that's the only way Tom Cruise is ever going to get one.
Fair enough.
That's the
Nice.
motivation.
That's the okay.
I got 4 Tom Cruises and Oscars as the motivation. A whole fucking vault full of Oscars. We're even going to take the big fucking one that's 20 feet tall. All right.
the one that's like outside of the theater that they.
That's right.
the
Yeah,
Kodak Theater?
that one can go too. Anyways, so the motivation is we're going to break in, we're going to steal some Oscars for all 4 cruises and go. All right. So, here's the plan. Rather than selling you on each of the characters, because apparently you know these characters, I don't. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to put them into action. We're going to start with Frank TJ Mackey is going to be hosting a self-help motivational lecture at the Motion Picture Academy that day for free. So this is going to distract all of the people. They're going to clamor into one of the theaters there, and they're going to be distracted by his self-help seminar.
So you mean the Kodak theaters?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. This is an imaginary place that has theaters and a vault filled with Oscars.
Okay.
All right. So he effectively distracts all of these people, which enables the rest of, or the other 2 members of my team that are going to enter the vault, Jack Reacher and Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt being my brains behind the operation.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So he starts performing, he gets into his Tame the Cock speech.
I was just gonna say,
Right.
please have tame the cock.
Tame the cock. And he's got everybody's attention, but he just teeters a little too far onto the misogynistic side of his self-help seminars.
Teeters.
Teeters, yeah. And he's actually, the stage is rushed by a number of members of the Me Too movement, and he's actually beaten to death.
love it.
So Tom Cruise Magnolia is now dead on stage, but he's effectively distracted enough people with this act, which has allowed Ethan Hunt to access the ducting and begin dropping down into the safe in his signature wire, avoiding the touch-sensitive floor alarm.
Touch temperature.
So now you only need 3 Oscars.
Yeah,
So that's good.
Right, so now it lightens the load. At this point, Hunt doesn't know that Mackey's dead, so we're still going for 4 Oscars. So he enters through the ducting, drops down to the top of the vault, avoids the touch-sensitive floor alarm, successfully grabs the 4 Oscars into a bag, scales back up out of the safe, but not before triggering the unknown alarm at the top that he didn't plan for. This alarm causes the crack security team to begin responding. Jack Reacher, positioned outside of the vault, single-handedly and with no weapon, which is apparently his move, fights off a dozen ex-Special Forces security team members. But while trying to exit the building afterwards to meet Reacher, in a smugness that's warranted of Jack Reacher, he, while passing the guard post, grabs the guard's lunch that was sitting on the table to say, "Ha, I kicked your ass, now I'm going to eat your sandwich." Unknowingly bites a peanut butter sandwich, and he has an anaphylactic shock reaction to the peanuts in it, unknown allergy, drops dead.
So you've lost your muscle.
But he successfully eliminated the security team.
Okay, fair enough.
Which allows Hunt to exit. So he's down. Hunt escapes to the waiting escape plane flown by Maverick. They begin to take off down the runway. Gunfire opens up. The plane becomes damaged. The plane takes off. As they're climbing, Maverick loses control. He enters a flat spin. Ethan Hunt, sensing certain doom, ejects. He's killed by hitting the canopy in the same way that Maverick killed Goose. Maverick now gains control of the plane and manages to fly off. So we now have Maverick with the 4 Oscars. Maverick's heading to the rendezvous point, and in Maverick's constant smugness and ego-drivenness, he requests a flyby of the tower before landing at the rendezvous point, flies too close, clips the tower, explodes into a ball of flames. Four crews is dead. Heist is a success.
Are you... End scene?
End scene.
End scene, okay. My face fucking hurts right now from smiling too much. So, Aaron, you can go first and tell him why you think too many cruises is too many cruises.
Well, I think Ethan Hunt was the wrong choice. I think it should have been Les Grossman. Grossman should have been your leader. I think that would have been fucking on point. To me, it's Tom Cruise's best role. Like, it's his best role ever. He's Les Hunt, or Les Grossman. I don't think Ethan Hunt can motivate Jack Reacher. How do you find Jack Reacher? The unfindable.
He
spy.
finds you, doesn't
Jack
he?
Reacher finds you.
Right? And then Maverick is great. What was it? Oh, Frank T.J. Mackey. Yeah, I mean, he's a good shill. Yeah, I mean, he's a piece of shit. It's good. Kill him. I actually love that movie. I love Magnolia, so I'm glad you used T.J. Mackey.
It was a great pull. Like, and
great.
To your point of like using him as a death by Me Too stomping is even better. Like, I love that because that's the guy who deserves to be
He's
stomped.
fittingly killed.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
it's awesome.
His comeuppance.
Awesome. For sure. Anything else, Aaron?
Oh yeah, and
The
then
cock is truly tamed.
Yes.
the biggest hole I think I could find is that so the Toms have to be aware they're Toms in order to be motivated to steal an Oscar. Because, like, I don't think Maverick really cares about an Oscar, or TJ Mackey might, because he can get some, Reacher doesn't care, Ethan Hunt wouldn't care, but I like it. I like the idea of it. But I think it would have to be Tom knowing he's Tom in order to go get the Oscars.
You're telling me that 4 Tom Cruises from different parts of the multiverse wouldn't be motivated to still get an Oscar?
I don't think so.
Nope.
I think Les Grossman maybe. That's why I think Les Grossman at the top.
That's one of my shots too against it was motivation. If you're gonna get at me at motivation, I just think Ethan Hunt, Jack Reacher, and Maverick won't care about the Oscars because they're too busy doing their shit. They're too busy being secret agents. They're too busy being secret agents, and
they're all
pilots.
Tom Cruise. They're all Tom Cruise.
Their thrills are gotten somewhere else. Their highs are gotten somewhere else. But I like the fact that
at my meth party,
right?
To kill 4 Tom Cruise characters, basically. That was great.
As soon as Tom Cruise goes clear.
This is what happened.
Yeah, he's able to a la Dr. Manhattan exist
splice
at
into
all points of time at the same time.
I'm
One
here
of my
and I'm
things
there.
was I don't think TJ Mackey will they vet at the Oscars. I don't think they're gonna see what he did in the past and be like, we're not gonna get him to speak at the Oscars. Like that's the only one of the other things that
I think the
don't
only
think he'll be chosen to speak. He won't be the distraction you think he is because they won't hire him. Like he's not gonna be able to do it. Like, is he just gonna have a booth there at the Oscars and distract people? I don't think these A-list celebrities are gonna even give him the time of day. Like, who is this guy? Like, motivational speakers are like a joke in that community. They don't care.
Look at the idiot they invited to fucking host Oscars last time. What's his name?
Uh,
Fucking English dude who
no.
just insulted the shit out of everybody.
oh, Ricky
That's
Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah,
They asked Ricky Gervais to do it. They're gonna ask fucking Mackie to do it. Don't worry.
yeah. It's because they're not self-aware enough. I mean, Hollywood in its own right would just be like, yeah, sure. He won't
But
say
Ricky
anything
Gervais
stupid.
is Ricky Gervais.
Fucking
TJ
Weinstein
TJ
booked
Mackey's
him.
nobody. They're not gonna be like, no.
Weinstein
They're gonna
booked
look at
him.
one of his clips and be like, no, we're not gonna hire him.
Epstein flew him in.
I did like that. I was a huge fan of this is a way to kill 4 Tom Cruise characters. I was a huge fan of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your
I think you should do another one like this.
I think it's just
But it should be Nick Cage. For me, it should be Nick Cage.
Done.
Every assemble the team from now on, you are charged with picking one actor's character role and using all 4 of them,
how
and
are
that'll
they
be
gonna
your
die?
shtick.
It's like
Yeah.
the best part of the
Yeah.
argument.
We'll
It was
do
the most fun I ever had writing a
God.
writing a debate.
As soon as you told me yesterday, I was like, "This is
I actually
fantastic."
I have a sketchbook of art that goes along.
It's a flip book. It's a
Can you
flip book.
please post the sketchbook of art?
Yeah, I think we have an ego implosion happening. That's my only consideration. I love the fact that like Ethan Hunt's great as your I guess your grease man would be Ethan Hunt, team leader, grease man kind of thing, because
Yeah,
he's
kind of
breaking
the
in.
brains. He's the grease
Yeah.
man. He's
Well,
fucking fitting into tight spots, repelling.
self-reliant, secret spy, Mission Impossible, nothing's too big, too crazy, whatever, that's fine. Ego. Then you've got Frank T.J. Mackey, ego in his pants. Then you've got Maverick, ego in his plane. Then you've got Jack Reacher, ego in like. I'm not saying that you won't pull this
Is there
off.
any connection between all those people?
I'm not saying these guys can't pull this off. I'm saying
Going clear.
but that's where it is. I think they all need to sit down and get a reading from Tom before this happens, so that they get all their shit out.
Yeah.
So that when they come together to do this heist, that one of them doesn't like break. I mean, they're all dying, which is a great plan. Like, I mean, does it matter that they pull this off? I think it only matters that all Tom Cruise characters die in this room, which we'll now paint on the wall when we walk in. All TC must die. So that's my only concern. Is just an implosion of personalities that might not play well because each of them has asshole Tom Cruise in them in some way, shape, or form. Like they're all Tom Cruise in the vein.
But you say I played to their egos, right? I gave them each
Yeah.
the area in which they excel at. They don't need to interact with each other. They're all operating independently.
This is true. So you've compartmentalized them.
Yes. So they all think they're the best because they're only doing the thing they're best at.
I still think they'll break away and do something that at the final moment where like they could be like, this is smart, or I'm just gonna fucking I'm just worried about the you'll never take me alive, coppa, like that kind of thing where like they just don't give a shit and then it all goes to crap and not even again, none of them. You've sealed your fate with this where none of it matters because they all die. Where like we've all kind of come from it where
but they successfully pulled off the heist.
that's true. Yeah. So
Successful is such a loose term.
Yes.
with this heist, but I mean, if your mission was to kill all 4 Tom Cruises, mission successful.
But I don't think Tom Cruise
Or
would want to do that. I don't think Ethan Hunt would want to all die.
no.
I think it's a huge F.
The
It's
twisted,
great.
the
It's a
twisted,
great F.
It is a huge F. I
It's a
love
great
it.
F.
Yeah.
the twist
Please
at
do
the
it with
end
Nick
is that
Cage.
I'm pulling
Please
all
do
the
it with Nick
strings.
Cage.
Yes. Yeah. No,
And,
you
and
are.
allow superheroes like
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, please kill him.
Well, like you're doing the thing where we're all like, we all hired to do this heist, but you're like, I'm just monkeying the strings over here.
The twist at the end is the Tom Cruise from Edge of Tomorrow. Just keeps doing this over and over again.
Wasn't I here yesterday? My God, I keep getting stuck in this ventilation duct. Like, what's wrong with my life? Mark, any last words before we give it to our special guest?
No.
No, I'm good.
Fuck you, Tom Cruise.
All right, Aaron, it is now all up to you, sir. Send us off.
Okay.
Finish the show. Tell us what you brought.
All right, my friends. Well, we all know that children are a large, beloved people entity in our world, and this company has set them up to gone missing, to hurt them in many ways. So this amazing team has been put together in order to stop and infiltrate this company of the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. Because they've put so much harm onto children throughout their years without being justified, right? Like I've never seen any legal action on the company ever. They've never been brought to justice. And so this team, whether it not be for the children, for the money, for stealing the everlasting gobstopper.
Nice.
So that's what they're after.
Nice.
So-
you know what you're doing.
Mr. Salt never even filed any kind of lawsuit or...
So
Right? Like you think
our lead on this is Marge Gunderson. A crack detective, amazing detective from Fargo, North Dakota.
don't you know?
Don't you know?
Yeah, for sure.
She could get away with everything by making people feel she's misaligned, right? Making her feel like she's stupid, she's dumb. She's not. She gets everything she needs and wants out of her, out of the people around her. So she's amazing as a lead. Jason Bourne as the wheelman and muscle. So Jason Bourne is great behind a wheel. He can get through the tiniest, smallest little cracks of back alleys. He can get people through there quickly. He's super intelligent, and he doesn't know where the intelligence comes from. So there's always a stream of consciousness coming of how to solve problems constantly. So Jason Bourne. Then, as
Holy
our
shit, I
tech
speak
and engineer,
Farsi.
we have Theo from Die Hard. Now, Theo from Die Hard, you might not know who Theo is, but he
didn't at
is
first.
the African or the black man. The black man who is the tech behind the terrorist group.
Oh, yeah.
And he can
Yeah.
crack any safe. He at Christmas, he broke through the safe.
When everybody's off work, he broke
At
through the
Nakatomi
safe.
Plaza.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he was able to do that. He was able to get the FBI to shut off the lights. He's able to just where he's needed and know what's happening and have everything set up for himself. He's a phenomenal brain behind the scenes. And then to end it, we have Vincent Benedict. Now, Vincent Benedict,
The fuck is Vincent?
Wait for it.
played
Just wait
by
for it.
Danny DeVito from Twins. Because the team will need someone to infiltrate and go undercover at the Wonka factory. So they will
It's a fucking Oompa Loompa.
paint him up like a Oompa Loompa, get him a job, be the inside man to get him in there. Now,
That's
how
a grease
this is gonna
man.
work is they have a few fail safes, so they're gonna get in. They're gonna be in with Vincent. Vincent's supposed to get it, get all the information that they need for Theo to basically break down any technology, because we all know the Wonka factory is like teched out to the top, right? Like absolutely teched out. So Theo's job
That's a
is to
smart
break down
factory.
all of that, while Vincent grabs
Nest
anything
everywhere.
that he needs from the inside. Then Jason's gonna come in. If needed, but he's waiting outside in a school bus. The reason why we have a school bus is they have put out not a casting call, but an ad to like a text. Like they've put a whole mass marketing thing out for golden tickets to the children of the nearby area. So there's going to be droves of children coming towards the Willy Wonka factory. As all of this is happening, Jason Bourne sneaks in with Vincent, and they go and they set up everything for the safe to be broken from Theo because he can get into the safe. So Theo's on top of that. Marge Gunderson is always, she's kind of off. She's not with them. She's just behind the scenes kind of thing, just helping along. But she's also making sure the children don't get hurt. So that's basically it. They can get out, and if they need to, they're going to get onto a bus. They're going to sneak out as Oompa Loompas. So, taking that from Ocean's 11 where they're going to dress as Oompa Loompas and leave, trying to
Was
stop
that
the
in the
children
end
from
credits?
breaking down because they break down the gates in order for the children to get in and it just run amok to get into the Willy Wonka factory. And that's kind of how they escape and get onto a bus and just leave. A little bit of Joker there too. So, inspired. That's it. That's the heist.
Oh,
Martin.
I fucking got a big hole in this one.
For you? I want to hear it.
Okay,
Holy
Martin.
shit.
I want
Martin.
to fill it. I'm going to fill this hole.
So just so we're clear,
Yeah.
your plan to rescue the children
No,
that
no,
have gone
to steal
missing.
to steal the everlasting gobstopper.
Okay.
The reason why they're going to do it is the money to
save the
basically
children?
take Willy Wonka to task, kill his
Okay.
company.
So to bring Willy Wonka down as a horrible child abusing candy
Yeah, he
slinger,
is, absolutely.
you're going to break down the gates and storm it with thousands of children. Basically
No.
serving them
No,
up to
that's the distraction.
Wonka and the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, that's the distraction.
So you're willing to just let those children die for the sake of the children.
They're not going to die. They're not going to kill the children. They already have a bad name against themselves.
I will
These
allow the
children
use
got
of the
missing.
children. I will allow the use of the children because I got allowed to use the KFC hires. So I mean, that's technically the
Okay,
pitman. So
okay.
I'll allow the use of the children.
Okay.
It's good. I allow
Mark,
it.
Mark,
Good.
the thing that me and Martin have kind of come up with is that in real life this would never happen, but for the sake of the arguments,
For the movie.
for the movie,
For the movie this is part of.
for
This summer. This summer.
behind the scenes of Willy Wonka, you never knew.
I just want to say, like, I really like Vincent Benedict dressed up as an Oompa Loompa, and I want to ask: has It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia done this? Danny DeVito dressed up as an Oompa Loompa because this is
Oh, I don't even know. I haven't watched Sunny.
that would be a funny bit.
That would
Oh
be.
man,
I like Margie. Oh, Margie, she's
That's
like
so cute.
Frances
Don't you know?
McDormand is.
Oh yeah.
She's just. Oh yeah, don't you know?
Oh yeah.
She's subtle and sly. Like you'd think podunk sheriff, but then if you look at the arch of Fargo, like she's pretty. She's a whippersnapper. She knows what's going on. So
That's the classic. Make them think you're. That's the Columbo move.
yeah, make them think
Right.
you're an idiot, and then get them while they're going out the back door.
That's right.
but would you want to break the law?
Yeah, see,
Yeah, but for the children. For the children.
for the sake of the children,
For the
Mark.
sake of the children, that we're
For
gonna
the sake of
stampede a bunch of
you will
children.
break the law.
my only issue is that as much as you have Jason like Margie great, Vincent amazing. I was I didn't know where you were going with this, but it's perfect. Like he would just walk in and punch a card and keep going, right? Like
Nobody would even look
like,
twice.
Nobody would stop.
He doesn't even need to dress up. Like,
No.
let's be honest.
No, he could just be like an Oompa Loompa manager.
Maybe a spray
Still
tan.
have the
Maybe a
ponytail in the
spray
back.
tan. Spray tan.
Spray tan and the ponytail in the back. Oompa Loompa with a ponytail.
So,
God,
but
It's Always Sunny should do that. Oh man.
Jason Bourne in the middle of all of this, having a PTSD moment, throws everything into
Oh yeah. I could see that.
into peril. That's it. Because like as much as Mark's like, oh, I know Farsi, or look at my martial arts, it also comes from who am I? How was I made? Like the litany of skills that he has is always overshadowed with when will he break? When will he snap? When will he have a
You know
moment?
what skill he doesn't possess?
Which one?
Is fucking overcoming anti-gravity gum.
Mission Impossible. The green and the is that what you're talking
No,
about?
in the fucking Willy Wonka factory. The
If he
fucking
burps.
Oh, that's the anti. Sorry, forgot about that. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the green and red gum from Mission
No.
Impossible. But
There's
yeah.
a lot of dangers in the Wonka factory.
Oh my
There's
God.
a lot. There's a lot. Like to break into the Wonka factory, there's a lot to go through.
That's a workplace health and safety
Oh, yeah.
massacre for sure. Like Veruca with being, blown
Right.
up with
Like what
Augustus.
happened to that German kid? That's all I want to know. That German kid that drank the.
We never
What
did see
happened
him.
to
We
him?
never
You
did
water.
see
no,
him.
Again?
you get one shot when Charlie comes out in the glass elevator at the
Yeah.
end, and they're all hanging out outside
And
of
I'll
the
just
factory.
mention this: the German kid. I've mentioned this in a previous episode. Was that? How did he know that was chocolate milk? That he was drinking? That could have been brown water. It could have been anything.
Yeah, agreed.
That's
I actually think he thought it was brown water and drank it anyway. And
Yeah.
was pleasantly surprised. He didn't look like a smart kid.
oh, this is better than brown water. This is chocolate.
Oh,
And
this
went
is
for
so good.
seconds and thirds of the brown water. Not just
Mother, this is so good. So PTSD Jason Bourne and not so Breaking the Law Margie Gunderson are my only 2 points. Mark,
I
Martin?
love the heist. I fucking love the heist.
I love I love the heist too.
Yeah.
Like your location is I love Willy Wonka. I love like the little note about Gene Wilder and how he was introduced in the first scene where he's walking with the limp
Yeah, it's great.
and
Love
then
it.
goes into the role. And when asked why he did that, he went, I wanted you to know as an audience member that you couldn't trust me. And the best way to do that without saying anything is to go from a limp to a role and a ta-da. And now we're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Little bit of character development there without
Willy
telling you.
Wonka is a shady fuck.
No shit.
untrustable character.
Well, the Johnny Depp version where he's like, everything in here is edible. I mean, eatable. Well, not you, because that would be cannibalism. Like the second iteration of it, which apparently there's a resurgence of Tim Burton films. Apparently, it's either Timothy Chalamet or Peter Parker. I can never remember.
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland, or Timothy Chalamet for a new Edward Scissorhands.
I
think
thought it was Chalamet.
I thought it was
I'm pretty
Chalamet
sure
too
they're
because
going to Chalamet.
they did that commercial for that. I don't know what it was, but there was a event recently. Maybe it was Super Bowl, and one of the commercials was Chalamet as Edward Scissorhands, and that kind of sparked the conversation. But well, Aaron, unless you got something else you want to say before we cut you off, last words for you, buddy.
Oh, I don't know. I honestly think maybe something happened to Margie, and am I arguing this? Because I'm like, I think Margie would do it for the children, for the great. Maybe she has maybe she understands that candy and children and luring them go hand in hand, and she just wants to put an end to it, So
The pedophiles would have nothing to lure children with if we stopped all the candy supply.
if we stop Willie and his Wonka.
If we stopped Willy and his Wonka, there's the line of the episode.
Or Wonka and his Willy.
Yeah. All right, so because we have 2 in room and 2 in Zoom, me and Mark will put our answers on our phone and hold them up to the camera, and you guys will type your answers into the chat group in the Zoom meeting.
I think the Dental Association would back if the Wonka factory went bankrupt. I think the Dental Association would bankroll him just because.
So we're voting for our favorite.
You're voting for your favorite. You type the name in the chat room and
The chat room.
yeah, the chat message in the Zoom meeting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so bring that up, and then me and Martin will put them, or me and Mark will put ours on a notepad, and
Then you're gonna count down, Mike.
yeah, I'll count down here. I don't have the sound effects hooked up because I finished them; they're all ready to go, but I didn't have them totally ready for this episode. So we'll have some lovely tracks for you guys with some really famous movie lines in them to get you all psyched up with us too, because we know that helps. So I'm ready. Mark, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Martin, Aaron, you guys are ready? All right. So, 3, 2, 1, action. All right. 3, 2, 1, action. Okay, hang on here. So, Mark for 1 from Martin. Martin Sheen. So, Martin for 1. I picked Mark. Mark, who'd you pick? Aaron.
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 Aaron, double Aaron.
So that's Mark, and Mark. Mark, Aaron, Martin. Yeah, Mark, you win. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah.
Killing
yes.
Tom Cruise. You should
You're
make a movie just called Killing Tom Cruise, where you kill all the Tom Cruise characters.
It should
in
just
one
be
day.
sketch comedy show of
Or
killing
a
Tom
Exactly.
Cruise.
short
Yeah.
adult children's book.
Yeah, Aaron, you could do the makeup for it,
Sure.
and we could make Mark look like different Tom Cruise characters and get that guy who does deep fakes of Tom Cruise.
And it's not really that mean because he believes that he just gets reincarnated anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you're just
There's an actor in Toronto that literally looks like Tom Cruise, like looks like Tom Cruise.
Poor guy.
how does he get gigs if he looks so much like Tom Cruise?
I have no clue.
Like that would be like you don't you almost don't want that if you're being an actor because it's like we already have one asshole. We don't need another one.
I'd cast him in my show. Kill him off in every episode
You
a different
could
way.
play your four Tom Cruises.
right.
There you
That
go.
would be good for Mission Impossible 67.
Yeah, exactly.
If they need someone to carry on the franchise, like they're thinking of doing Luke Skywalker again with what's his name, that other actor.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah. he's got such great range.
Yeah, like 38 Jump Street.
Real Perlman. Sorry.
So, Aaron, you are in the same group as Ian Bawa, who you're the first couple guys to actually play the game with us. Everybody else we've had a lovely conversation with and getting to know them and talking to Winnipeg film professionals about what they do. And you, sir,
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Who is this Aaron guy?
that's it's kind of fuck you. Either I don't segue or I'm about to segue, and someone's like, "You should segue." So let's segue.
Let me interrupt your segue.
So, Aaron, what's your story in getting into film and makeup? Because that's, I mean, I knew you. We talked a little bit before we started recording about how we knew each other. But for people who don't know who you are and want to find out what you do, how did this whole journey start?
I started. I started like when I was 18. I moved to Chicago, studied comedy in Chicago for like 2 years, then moved to Toronto and did the Second City there. And then I worked at then I moved to New York, and then I did improv and comedy there, and then I moved back to Toronto and did Much Music. And then I moved everywhere. I lived in LA and Vancouver, and then I moved back here. And then so I was an actor for years, and then I started doing makeup because I wanted to do what Eddie Murphy does and what Mike Myers do. I just wanted to do character makeups. So I couldn't afford to pay someone to do it. And so I just started teaching myself how to do it. And that's what I did. And then I showed Doug Morrow when I was on set one day, one of my sculptures, and he was like, "Hey, come work with me." And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "This is my dream job." And then I've been doing that for the last 7 years. So
That is awesome, dude. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you played in it, and I always thought it was just based on your YouTube show that you were starting, that you were wanting to kind of do it. Like you were like, "I'm going to be a savant and do it all myself." And I love he does a tarot card reading impression of a character. You guys should go check
What's
it out.
this, Aaron? What's this YouTube channel we hear about?
Oh, my YouTube channel is Aaron Murky in Character. It's kind of been a new opus for me where I'm like, I got some like weird health news. So I was like, I need to and we just had a kid. I have a 2.5-year-old, and life kind of got not shaky weird, but I'm still waiting on results and stuff. But just put the pedal to the metal for me. Like I was always kind of like standing off on like I was always going after my dream, but not like I was letting other people's impressions of me kind of slow me down, I think, and worrying about what other people thought of me. And I was like, fuck this shit. I am done with that game. And so I've taught for years. And so I wanted to put all my knowledge out there because I love teaching and I love sharing what I've learned. So part of my YouTube channel is about teaching comedy, and then the other part is about me exploring character and doing the things that I always wanted to do. Like one of my dreams was to audition for SNL, and I got to audition, like not in the studio, but I got to like send in tape. They requested tape, and so I did that. But that was my dream, to do that kind of thing. And I was like, why am I not just doing that? Like I'm still acting, and I get parts and things. And I was on Channel Zero for like the horror anthology, if anyone's watched it.
Yeah, awesome series. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen a good chunk of them.
So season 3, you'll see me, and I die halfway through. Spoiler alert. I always do it after. I love it. But yeah, like it was kind of like I'm just going at it now, and I'm not worried about like the union calling me out for making shit without their like acknowledgments. Do you know what I mean? Like, because ACTRA is kind of like, you can't just go and do films and stuff. And I'm like, I don't have time. I don't know what's going on with myself, but I was like, I'm not waiting anymore. So I'm just going at it. And I just started in December just to like push it out. Cause my wife and I, we're a comedy duo, and we've been doing that for years. But now I'm just like, she's kind of like, she just needed a break because COVID, and she just dealt with COVID differently. And I was like, I'm going at it, and so it's been really fun. It's been really exciting for me. So
Yeah, no, this is a good, like, I mean, I speaking from experience with us here and picking up something and just doing it instead of waiting for somebody's approval or authorization or compliment to start going. But yeah, I mean, COVID treats everybody differently. It's the fucking great equalizer.
We said this before, and it's sort of the strange benefit of COVID, and I think, Aaron, you're kind of exploited this, is that it really has shrunk the world. Like, so no matter where, you don't have an advantage being in LA necessarily, because nobody can fucking go anywhere in person anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
exactly.
So many people have have allowed for the bar to be lowered in this industry where it's like you speak of wanting to do SNL. When SNL came back and was just doing taped,
What we're doing.
yeah, like we're exactly what we're doing. To see that they're struggling the same way that somebody who's trying to be in the same room as them, that's kind of nice to see for once, because it's always been behind the camera and behind the scenes of all the stuff. But now it's like, well, no, we have very limited communication at our disposal right now, so it's all out there.
Yeah, I think COVID has taught everyone like, whether they like it or not, a lot about themselves. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think people have had to really explore who they are and what they are. Like, I think I was gratefully given a couple years ahead just from personal shit that was going on. Like, that's a whole other can of worms to open. But like, yeah, I'm really just grateful just to be pounding the pavement again. And like, I know I'm going to work on my stand-up again. It's been forever. And just like trying to help others get there too, right? And just putting out information that I think, I'm so glad. I think finally gatekeepers are now being thrown out of a little bit.
That's great.
I think that's, I don't think there needs to be gatekeepers anymore. And I'm so grateful for it.
Well, with the blow up of things like TikTok and YouTube and whatnot,
And the Me Too.
Me
Too.
yeah, no, like
it's
there's
all of it.
so many things have been like, you don't need an agent anymore, and Me Too has shown that we need to start caring about our female side of film and just not actors but producers, directors, everything, right. Like inclusion, and like a lot of this is now being opened up because and
Black lives and like the things that are like, it's just, I think it's just this conversation that needs to be happening, and just kindness and just like awareness to like I think there's a lot of hurt that's going to happen, and it still is, but there's also going to be an awareness to being like kind and helping one another
100%.
Through all of it.
And you're seeing it in all of the media. I don't know if you guys follow much, but I've been following a lot of YouTube stuff, and living in America, but Canadian rapper singer Tom MacDonald, completely independent. Like, he accentuates the fact that like, it's me and my fucking girlfriend. She shoots the videos, I make the music, fuck everybody else. I don't have to answer to anyone. And it goes back to saying the gatekeepers of even music. You don't need to get a record deal. Like, fuck you, I'll say what I want to say, and you're successful at it. I think that's great.
And
people can learn a lot from that.
The NFTs, like, I know they're weird and they're all over the place, but with the shit with that, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be like the next 5 years.
And people are in control of their own art.
Tell me, what is...
And they had time to do it. They had time sitting alone in their fucking apartment or their house, maybe with kids or not, but like, you had time to like really explore yourself.
Like,
not in that way.
The side. Speaking on NFT, that's actually interesting.
Well, I don't know what I've heard about it recently. I'm not in the know on NFT. What is it?
It's a non-fungible token. It's basically a way of monetizing your art and authenticating it as original using blockchain, which cryptocurrency is built around.
Oh, okay. Now, all right. So it's part of
Ethereum. Basically, it's Ethereum, and that's the only part that's tricky is Ethereum is like kind of all over the map, but it's really interesting. You should check it out.
And it got mostly in the news because of Beeple, who was an artist that made like 60 million or something.
67 million on one piece of art.
Sold one piece of art.
Like a bunch of pieces of art within it.
Yes. And he actually filmed himself every day for like
I can't remember.
Like 12
There's
years.
A lot. There's Fumeow. There's Fumeow. I don't know. There's a few of them. Like there's the Fumeow guy basically made 18 million on his 18th birthday or something like that, and it's like just from, or maybe it was like 120,000, but like a huge amount on his 18th birthday because he was making these NFT. And there is an argument against the outcome on the world, like the power consumption of it. So there are good and bad sides to it, but it's just interesting how people are starting to change their attitudes, and everything's kind of changing, like from that 1950s paradigm that we've been raised on.
In the simplest term, Mike, there's one Mona Lisa. We all see reprints of Mona Lisa.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So nobody thinks if you go into your house and you have a picture of the Mona Lisa that's the fucking Mona Lisa. It still has value that's sitting in the Louvre. But that's the thing with NFT is that the person who invented fucking Nyan Cat, right? The Pop-Tart rainbow shitting cat, you can actually own the original GIF of Nyan Cat, and I think it did sell recently.
It did. That's
and
what I heard
you
about.
own the original. So finally there's some value put on digital media in an original form because it can be validated as original.
And every time it sells, you can put a percentage that every time it sells, that person who created it still gets money from it being sold again.
Oh, so it's rights basically where
Yeah.
So it's rights to art instead of rights.
And the blockchain gives it a way of authenticating that digital copy as the original. So you can't really fake it.
Right.
I like that. Martin, we need to get NFTs for the episode. This is art. This is art? No, it's not. No, dude, that's really awesome. And anybody, Aaron's Instagram page has got some seriously fucking dope makeup. Like you're very talented individual, sir. And it doesn't surprise me that friend of the show, Doug Morrow, and you are working together. Like that's just genius on genius. So genius squared. Coming from Winnipeg.
There you go.
Where,
check me out, Aaron Murky and Character.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron Murky and Character Instagram. Is that where you check out, like, search on YouTube?
Most of my stuff is on YouTube. I use Instagram. I still have to figure it out. Like I have to figure out I literally had to figure out how to go live on it. I felt like such an old person. Like I didn't, that video where I'm doing that as Devon that's factual. That's me being like, what the fuck?
What's your TikTok handle?
My TikTok, it's the same thing, Aaron Murky and Character. I don't have a ton up right now. I'm kind of trying to tackle YouTube and Instagram-ish.
Okay, boomer.
And then TikTok, I'm going to do a big bunch of releases on there. But
yeah, no, it is I understand what we all understand what it feels like to play with this shit, and you're like, how far removed from app use am I? Where
makeup art is fucking huge on TikTok. People
I
love
know.
it.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, I have so many things that I love doing, like makeup, like comedy, like film. Like I've taken how many years to grow each one individually, and then you put them together, and it's like, oh my god, I got so much that I have to go through, because I'm like, the next thing that I want to do is like some makeup videos, but I also still want to keep putting out the content of like my classes. Like I just want to give my classes away to take away the gatekeeping of any information.
I'm gonna take you up on that, Aaron. I was an actor when I was a kid for a long time, and I gave it up to work a real job. But I always said that I'm gonna get back into it. So
do it, man. It's fun. It's fun, and the scene here is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like it's like the fact that like my wife and I were in a movie with Liam Neeson, and Lauren was like played against Liam Neeson, or like played against Ben Kingsley, or like my wife is killing it, but like you shouldn't have me on.
Well, dude, tell you what, your wife is more than welcome to come on.
Against Judith Light, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's great, like people don't understand. Like we tell people in Toronto that like our old friends, like you should come to Winnipeg. They're like, nah, and I'm like, okay, like that's good. Don't come.
Like leave it to us. No, he's totally right. Like this. From talking with film professionals and just being on the sidelines of what you guys do, there's the community you have here is so fucking tight, and you all want to just be like, "This is how we do it."
Mike,
like,
I think he figured it out that we're using him as a foot in the door to get to his wife.
Yeah, no, I think he probably. Yeah, I was just gonna roll over that.
You just needed to like Facebook her. I'm sure she'll do it.
I went through her husband. That's
She's funnier. She's way more talented. Like she's a genius.
Okay,
so Lauren Cochran. She has a professional Instagram account. I don't know. It's All
right.
Look up
Well,
One Cockroach.
if you want to give her an elbow after and be like, I did this amazingly
Sure.
fun podcast that
Sure.
you should do as
She
well.
knows about it. She helped me suss this out.
Oh, well,
Oh.
then we can put Aaron, that we've had Aaron, and then we can have Aaron's wife.
And then we can have Lauren, and then we can have them together.
Yes.
We can have a series.
go.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe they could come on in character.
And then we can get rid of all of our other guests and just have Aaron on
Yes.
in makeup each week
Yeah, we'll just
Makeup. There you go.
do
as
4.
different characters.
I can't see
I
this
think the
being
way
a
we're
bad
talking,
idea.
I need to get paid a little bit.
You gotta wet his beak. He's gotta wet his beak a little.
I love that, dude. That's awesome. No, we're getting into the pay talk now.
You can own all the NFTs for the episode.
Yes. Just give me like 6%, like something small, and copyright's all to you, man. We'll just ride your coattails off into the wild blue yonder. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you first of all, Aaron, thank you for
Yeah, no problem.
doing
Thank
2 hours
Thank
with
you
us
so
here.
much.
It was fun.
You were
times.
great. You knew exactly what you were doing. You've got a place in our hearts now, and I'll mark you down on the wall here as a can-do return guest. Not that anybody's ever not been able to do it, but that's going to happen. That I've said it. But for all you new folks who skipped the first part of the stuff because you were like, let's get to the fucking bullshit here. RealDebaters.ca. That's us. And there's going to be stuff on Aaron Murky on this episode that you can go find him on. So his website will be there and his channel will be there as well, too. So you should write down the realdebaters.ca. That is where you can shop us. That is where you can donate to us. And pocket change, $1 or $2. That's all it is, man. Whatever you got back from buying a
Hell,
coffee.
you could advertise with us.
You could advertise on the show for 1 month. 1 month. It's a smoking hot rate. And
for
you
the
buy a
cost of
skateboard.
1 cup of coffee.
yeah, no, it's not cheap. It's super cheap to advertise with the Real Debaters. So and you can contact us.
You got $5?
Yeah.
For the cost of feeding 1 child in Africa. No, sorry. Doesn't work that way.
No, for the cost of feeding 4 podcasters in Winnipeg. For donuts and coffee. No, but anything is realdebaters.ca. The email address is therealdebaters@gmail.com. And at Real Debaters is how you follow us online. That's where you can see Mark and myself and Aaron now and Martin and all of our images. You can read some of the blogs we've posted. It's a one-stop shop. It's pretty fucking easy. So I didn't tell Aaron about this, but we'll see how well he does. I have been Frank Dux this week because I've been trying to do the splits every time I wrote this episode out. Honestly, I've been trying to get a little bit more bendy, so that's what I've been playing. Martin, who have you been playing this week?
I have been Max Rebo of the Max Rebo Band.
Isn't that Max from
Star Wars, the elephant guy.
Oh, the elephant guy. Perfect. All right. Mark, who have you been this week?
I didn't know I had to prepare something.
I know you've been away for a while. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Mark Cowell, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
he'll,
you.
He'll be in character
I've been
next
playing
week.
myself.
One of 4 Tom Cruise characters. Aaron, who have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Vincent Benedict. I've been finding my really nice, soft, gentle side to a hard outline character. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for.
We all have to get in touch with our Vincent. So.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the soft Vincent I want to coddle. Thank you for tuning into another episode. Watch all the movies and fucking bye.
Peace.
Uh,
Oh, Aaron, that was so great, dude.
That was a good